If you've ever come up with a stock trading idea based solely off TV commercials, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. And of course, welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. We're going to get you ready for the trading day here today. We've got 2 more days left in the week before the big Super Bowl. We are going to make the best of it. We had some earnings this morning, earnings last night, more earnings tonight. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to find new trading ideas today. Let's get it. Morning and happy Thursday. Welcome back. Time to get rolling and execute or get through another awesome market day. Chris, good morning. It's good to see you. Varsi Marcy, good to see you. Sure, we can take a look at, let me actually add that to my list here. APPS, you want to take a look at? Yeah, we can do that. I'll go ahead and add that here to the note sheet. Good morning. Jonathan, good morning. Welcome back. Paul, good to see you as always. Sun-Kissed Yogi, welcome back. Steve, great to see you. Welcome back. Asar, Esrar, probably. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, but good morning nonetheless. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Peter, great to see you again. Welcome back. Chuck, welcome back. Good morning. Hustle and bustle, making some money before he goes to his day job. That's someone that's committed. Welcome back, Hustle and Bustle. That is the hustle we want to see. Big Bees, welcome back. Good to see you. Reaching Financial Freedom, welcome back. Crimp Biscuit, Yassine, Ed, welcome back. Bobby and Danny, great to see y'all in the house. Sergeant Sexy, now we can start going. Now we can go. Tom, feeling good about today. Let's do this. That is exactly the type of positive attitude and vibes that we need in the morning. Good morning, Tom. Welcome back. Agreed. Let's do this. White chocolate mocha. Larry, Prudenica, welcome back. Izzy, hello. We got Amazon earnings tonight. How excited are you? Are you playing the print? Got to let us know what you think here on Amazon. Today is your day, Izzy. Amazon after the market closes. Ari Stocks, good morning. JJ, good morning. Did you say you were going to execute someone? No, I tried to say that we were going to execute the day, and I realized halfway through the sentence that wasn't correct. And then I tried to go back, and now you called me on it, and now I'm explaining it. It is what it is, buddy. You knew what I meant. Mark, good morning. It is going to be a good day. Welcome back. Aaron, good morning. Diamond Hotline, locked in as always. Kayla, good morning. Harris, good morning. Javon, good morning. Trade Screener, good morning. We got a ton of people. We got John all over the place. Let's go. Amjad, good morning. All right, let's go ahead and dive right in, folks. We're going to start by taking a look here at the SPY, and we are still in the Trump channel. We are trading back up towards the high end of the range. You will notice, oops, sorry about that. You will notice, yes, we'll see what happens here today, but yes, we are making slightly lower highs on this. So we'll see if we have the strength to break out of here. This morning, quick look around. It was flattish. The futures were mixed earlier and they were near flat. Looks like they've all kind of turned into the green here, which is pretty good. S&P futures up just over 0.2% plus 0.23%. Dow futures here up 0.15%, and the NASDAQ here just about flat, up 0.05%. So all of the indices at least have turned slightly green here this morning, but for the most part, they're all pretty flat. So we'll see where we end up going here today. We do have, like I said, we do have a lot of stuff. We've got the jobless claims today at 8:30. We have Waller speaking at 12:30, and then we have Daly speaking near the close at 3:30. So we do have some Fed speakers on the horn today, as well as the jobless claims print here in the morning, which we'll get to in 26 minutes. And then obviously, as we mentioned, there's going to be some of the earnings here, and the earnings tonight are going to be Amazon. That's the big one. Let's see. Do we have the earnings calendar for today? We do. So here you go. Here's a quick look at the earnings. I probably should have been showing this more often this week. I apologize. We'll try and get better than that. But tonight, Amazon, that's probably going to be the big one. Affirm, I know we're going to be looking at that. Some of these payment companies, these have been big trades. We're definitely going to be watching the Affirm print, at least I am. Cloudflare is on there. But one more I wanted to shout out real quick, Graph, ticker EAF, that little guy, that Jay Rice. has recommended a while ago. That is actually reporting on Friday morning. So I'm kind of interested to see how that print is going to do. We'll check in on that tomorrow when we get back there. So earnings coming up. And another data print coming up, and that is going to have an effect on the SPY here. Really nothing new to talk about in terms of any key levels. I wish I had something better for you, but really we're still in this range. We're still holding above the 50-day moving average. We're still beneath the all-time high. And in fact, we're actually beneath the recent Friday high that we made when we were recovering the DeepSeek week. DeepSeek week, if you want to call it that. That value here, by the way, 609.96. So we're currently here at 605.44. So that's definitely an upside level to watch if we get up there. I will say this week has been pretty low volume across the SPY. I don't even think we traded 30 million shares on the SPY yesterday even with the closing print. So low volume, that's probably one of the reasons why the index is able to get pushed up. With that low volume, I'm skeptical that we're actually able to break out. Something would need to happen, whether it be a big earnings print or some macro event or some piece of news that would cause us to move to another range. But we'll see if that's what we get. A couple more folks joining us here today. Matthew, good morning. Day Trader, welcome back. Good morning. Zane, welcome back. Fear, Crypto, Greed. Hello. Welcome back. Ryan Milligan, good to see you as always as well. Florida Yacht Insurance Guy. Larry, you guys are out here getting it done. Okay, Roblox is getting slapped. So you know what? Do we want to, well, let me break down some of the news stories here. It's not a whole lot, but let me just roll through a couple of these, and then we'll start taking a look at some of those earnings. I guess if you're saying it's getting slapped, maybe we should check in on it right away. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is down 27%. Wow. Remember, we had a disaster of a report from FMC yesterday. That thing was down 36%. I actually still have it, but I'm looking to get out of it by the end of this week. This Roblox, this is also a pretty big miss here. Down 27%. Maybe we will revisit that 52. We'll definitely check back in here on Roblox, but I do want to get some of these news stories out of the way here first. Wow, Roblox, big move down. Big move down. Okay, your market overview here, and I'll just kind of breeze through that because we already talked about it a little bit here. U.S. stocks are likely to open higher ahead of Amazon earnings, which is pretty much the setup here for today. I do want to see what that jobless claims is, but I want to see what the market does ahead of these earnings. Does it fall apart or does it really hold together here? That might influence some of the traders and how the stock actually reacts. We saw a couple of earnings reports last night that were beats on the top and the bottom line, and these traded lower. Has me wondering if we're at peak earnings, but that's another discussion. Buy the dip mentality remains prevalent, says the analyst. Yeah, that's not breaking any new ground. In fact, we really don't even need to go into that. Every time the market sells off, it seems that the dip gets bought. We were highlighting last week and this week and how they mirrored each other. Last week, obviously over the weekend, we got the DeepSeek report that freaked everything out on Monday. And guess what? Traders bought the dip. And you folks called it correctly, by the way, if I need to remind you. Per the poll, you guys got that correct. Then the following week, we obviously had the tariff tantrum that sold us off, and the traders bought the dip again. So buy the dip mentality, absolutely still in effect. You're seeing it on individual names. You're seeing it on the indice. Anything that is connected to AI or some of the hot momentum names, you're seeing that pretty much across the board. We'll see when that changes. I know one of the things that we've talked about a lot on the happy hour, but we've also talked about it here, is that eventually there's going to be one of these dips that doesn't get bought. That's the one that you want to avoid. The way I look at it is that keep doing it until it's broke, right? Buy the dip has worked. Spent a lot of the time last year waiting a sell-off, and that actually kept me out of some trades. So trying not to do that this time, trying to use proper risk management to stay in trades that are working and bail from trades that are not working. Next story here, the tariff impact. Chicago Fed's Austin Goolsbee shifts from a dove to a hawk, says tariff impact on inflation, quote, might be much larger this time, end quote. Not surprised. Goolsbee has been a very outspoken critic of the entire administration going back to the first Trump administration. None of this comes as any surprise. Let's see. I don't think there were any. Here's the story for any of you that want that, if you want to go into it. I can share it here. I don't even really know. I don't think there were any key quotes in here. Compared to 2018, tariffs may apply to more countries or more goods at higher rates, Goolsbee said. In that case, the impact could turn out to be larger and longer lasting. And that's fairly obvious. One of the things that we've discussed here is that a lot of these tariffs are actually used as a negotiating tool, so never even really get that far, which he doesn't even make a mention of in here. So, look, there's opinions across the board on this. Austin Goolsbee, he's obviously, Fed member. So we'll see which way this goes. But I don't know. I don't know how great this actually is. I don't really know that there's a whole lot to take away from this. We'll see what happens with the tariffs. We'll see if they even stay on, and we'll assess it then. The market so far has told you, despite this, that it is going to continue to be resilient. So unless something changes, despite what Mr. Goolsbee says, the market is telling you something else. So keep that in mind. We'll see what happens as this plays out, or if the tariffs get worse, or actually get left on as opposed to being used as a negotiating tool. So just something to keep in mind there. The next thing that we want to talk about here is going to be Qualcomm. They reported earnings yesterday. Let me start with some of the data and one of the quotes from the article here. Then we'll go ahead and take a look at the chart and see if we can set up another trading idea or potential key levels if we have them. Qualcomm here. Qualcomm rides the AI wave to a record quarter, but lowered Q2 guidance thanks to seasonality and Apple shipments dragging down the stock. Okay, interesting. Let's break that down. Let's talk about what that actually means. First of all, Qualcomm down 4.19% here. 4.38%. Sorry, that quote in the story might be a little bit delayed. Qualcomm down here just over 4% in the pre-market on the back of those good earnings. But let's take a look at what happened here. Qualcomm's QCT segment delivered a record 10.1 billion in the first quarter, which is up 20% year over year. That's pretty good. The QCT, which stands for Qualcomm CDMA Technologies, is a division of Qualcomm, one of the largest suppliers of wireless chipset technology and software solutions. On a sequential basis, the decline in QCT handset revenues is primarily driven by seasonality and shipments to Apple. Furthermore, from an earnings per share perspective, the CFO added that the third quarter is the low point because you don't have as many flagship launches on it. So basically what he's saying here is that, Apple is one of the reasons that this is behaving the way it is because of the seasonality in Apple. Now, I also think we got news out of Skyworks here today. I can never remember this ticker. I get it wrong every time. SWKS. Skyworks Solutions are trading lower here, just to give you an idea of how bad this is. Skyworks down almost 29% here. Skyworks shares are trading lower after the company issued Q2 adjusted EPS before estimates. Multiple analysts also downgraded the stock on Thursday. There was more here about them supplying Apple. Let's see if I can find that here. I knew it was going to be too much to read through while I was on camera here. There was also, producer, see if you could find that for me. Skyworks Solutions faces revenue challenges. I found it right at the last second. Skyworks Solutions faces revenue challenges as Apple shifts to dual sourcing strategy. So I think Qualcomm's kind of talking about that. Obviously, that affects Skyworks here. Whatever you think of Qualcomm, or if you trade or watch Qualcomm, I think it would be beneficial for you to also watch SWKS here today. And you might have more opportunities here. The stock's down 28%. There are more downgrades here today. Mizuho, B. Riley, Stiefel, and Rosenblatt all downgrading it. So maybe we do bottom out here today. Maybe there's a bounce. But that's kind of what's going on here. Let me go back to Qualcomm. I want to finish off with their earnings report here. Despite guidance I'm sharing the wrong screen here. Despite the guidance headwinds, Qualcomm emphasized its leadership in on-device AI interference, highlighting the DeepSeek R1 models running on Snapdragon devices. With the industry's most powerful and efficient AI processors for the edge, we're well positioned to drive the transition and benefit from this upcoming inflection point. Then also goes to highlight that the Samsung Galaxy S25, the flagship phone for Android, uses Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Elite processor and gets excellent results for the AI application. So one of the things that Qualcomm is telling you here, I know they got hit on this earnings report, but one of the things that they're telling you here is that they're going to be well positioned for AI advancements in the future. We've talked, they're talking a lot there about handsets, but we've also talked about how Qualcomm chips and products are also used in automobiles. So there seems to be a pretty decent outlook here for Qualcomm. Now, if we go back to the chart, because that's what really matters, right? Where are we at here? The big thing, and this is a theme that we've talked about with a lot of the different charts that we've looked at, frankly, one of the big themes here with QCOM is its rejection here at the 200-day. And if we even look back to September of last year, you can see in August, we fell through the 200-day, and then we actually recaptured it, which is generally speaking what you want to see. That didn't really produce a huge bullish run. We lost it again in September, early September. And really since then, we have tried many times to get above the 200-day. Most recently here, yesterday, Wednesday, February 5th. Now, of course, we had earnings here, Qualcomm selling off. So what the plan here for Qualcomm, or at least the plan that I have here for Qualcomm, let's see where this actually bottoms. Where could that spot be? I would start by looking at some of these moving averages and these former price levels that the stock visited. We're currently sitting right here, right above the 20-day moving average. That value is 167.69. And we do have support all the way down to 161. So sitting here today, Thursday morning on February 6th, I would say that Qualcomm is probably going to bottom pretty soon. I would say maybe maybe not by the end of this week, but perhaps by the end of next week. I would assume that Qualcomm is going to bottom somewhere along some of these moving averages. And that then might be an opportunity to swing long here. One of the things that we'd be looking at in terms of strategy, when we talk about day trading, we talk about selling partial at some of those resistance areas and then maybe keeping a trailer on. Well, we would try to use the same strategy here for Qualcomm. Let's say, hypothetically, we do trade down and then hold maybe 3 closes right above the 50-day moving average. That would be our entry trigger for a potential swing long. You'd probably want to stop somewhere beneath the lows here. And then you'd be looking for your first sell target here right at about the 200-day. That's probably going to be somewhere around 155 by the time the price gets on there or gets back there. And then if we break through that and you keep a trailer, that would be the one to kind of trade there. So this is kind of the setup that I'm looking for here on Qualcomm. The earnings report, like I said, the reaction to the earnings report, not great. I'm not really sure they're at peak earnings, and Qualcomm pretty tapped into some of the AI theme here. So if that proliferates at all, I think Qualcomm probably benefits from that. So I'd be looking for this to really kind of show bottoming price action, and then would look for alongside trade on that. That's QCOM. Okay, could you look at Snap on earnings? Yes, we definitely can. Let me add that to the list. We've got APPS. Now we'll add Snap. That wasn't on my list because it's just not been great, but we'll take a look at that. Absolutely. We'll almost certainly take a look at RNAS as that ran yesterday when we hit some of the movers here. You want to take a look at LAES. I'm not even sure if that was on the movers list today. Yes, actually it was. So we will take a look at that. I added that to the list as well. Okay. Yeah. And folks, just, I don't know if I've ever really said this aloud, but I do the same thing every day. So I'm assuming you folks picked up on it. One of the things that I like to do in terms of structure here, I like to go over the news first. Then if there are any big earnings or economics, do that. If we have any guests, do that in the morning. And then right around or right before 8, I like to hit the movers. I do this for 2 reasons. Number one, I've noticed that sometimes we'll actually get a late PR, which will add something to the movers list. And so the longer we wait, the more complete the movers list. But then also I really want 13 to get in here and give his different levels and what he sees there. I feel like more information added to your plan is actually going to be helpful. So it's one of the reasons why I keep movers to the end. I know you folks love to trade some of these smaller names, which is great. and I do it too, but I do want to make sure that we cover everything here, from the news to some of the bigger stocks. We end up focusing on some of these smaller movers for a majority of the session once the market opens. So I really want to focus the time prior to the market open on some of the other stuff that's going around. But that's just as kind of an aside. All right, the next thing that I wanted to mention here is going to be Ford. We had actually a really good discussion on Ford yesterday. Shout out to some of our happy hour members. One of them lives in the Detroit area, knows a lot of people that actually work at Ford, and is able to provide some pretty valuable insights here. Ford shares skid after their their Q4 report. You can see here on the daily chart, we have had a somewhat parallel channel going all the way back to the summer of 2022. And tell you what, it's been rough sailing for Ford. I mean, frankly, the only trade here that's really worked has been a channel trade, picking this thing up at the bottom and then selling it when eventually it moves to the top. Trading action hasn't been great here. The only other strategy that I can see here that I know people have utilized would be when Ford actually trades up to the top end of that channel, maybe selling some covered calls if you own the stock above that, collecting that premium, and then waiting for it to sell back off so that you don't have to rebuy those. It's been a rough go. It's been a rough go for this. Ford shares trading lower following Q4 financial results. The company said it expects $5 billion to $5.5 billion in losses in the EV segment this year. Now, I was just telling you about how we have a gentleman in our happy hour that contributes every day that knows some people there, and his reporting really supports or steelmans this here. Really good people that work at Ford, really smart people that work at Ford, but the entire push to EV really kind of set them back. And that's actually being reflected in the stock price here. So, okay, that's pretty much with the chart. I'll be honest with you, I don't have a trade here. What we discussed yesterday on Happy Hour was we really think that if this breaks down and bottoms out, you might have somewhere between like 750 and 850 to be able to pick this up. Way back, when this thing really got hit. Let me go to a weekly chart here so we can show you. Right back in here. One of the gentlemen said they picked up Ford for $1. All right, so I think some traders here that have a longer time horizon are actually waiting for a much lower price here on Ford. 750 to 8 seem to be the next level that we were talking about there. But really quickly here on Ford, I did want to go over the news here. It broke out some of the stuff for fiscal 2024. Ford Blue revenue was flat at $101.9 billion as positive net pricing offset 2% decline in wholesales driven by discontinuation of low margin products. Ford Model E reported a full year EBIT loss of $5.1 billion. Ouch. As the company continues to invest in future products, Ford Pro generated $9 billion in EBIT, a margin of 13.5%, in line with target to mid-teens. So they really didn't beat there. It was just kind of in line. Ford Credit reported full-year earnings before taxes of $1.7 billion, an increase of $323 million compared to 2023. Now, Jim Farley, the CEO, did say that Ford is becoming fundamentally a stronger company. We finished 2024 with a solid fourth quarter, capping the highest revenue year in Ford's history. So if you believe in the turnaround story here, or you believe Mr. Farley, perhaps you will be able to add Ford at a discount. We'll see here. And again, some of the reports from people that are actually on the ground and have experience with the company or working at the company said the leadership has been shaky. The forced EV production hurt and the turnaround is slow, but the people there are good, capable, and driven. So there you go on Ford. Okay, next is actually going to be ARM. Let me go back to Pro here. Let's take a look at ARM. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're golden. It's not even 8:30 yet. We're in real good shape. ARM down 4.3% here. You can see this has made this has just been great since the IPO. I think we talked about this IPO back when live trading was around. September of 2023. this thing IPO'd at about $60. We actually look like we're going to try and take out some of these highs here. Chart actually does look pretty strong. I know we're down 4.3% here today, but let's see where we bottom out. This chart still actually looks pretty good. ARM confirms a central role in a $100 billion Stargate AI infrastructure project with OpenAI and Oracle. So I know one of the things that we had talked about were going to be when DeepSeek was coming out, are companies still going to spend money? Are they still going to do all this stuff? Are they still going to be willing to raise and spend money on AI? I think the answer here is yes. ARM has affirmed its central position in the artificial intelligence ecosystem through its development with OpenAI, an ambitious $100 billion Stargate infrastructure. Doesn't look like anything here has changed. So let's see if there was anything. We are very excited about the future, whether it's about the near-term execution of our strategies with V9 and CSS to all of the opportunities that Stargate and Crystal Intelligence bring us. Company reported a record total revenue of $983 million, up 19% year over year. Of course, that was driven by AI. That's why this stock has been trading so well. The company's involvement in Project Digits, a collaboration with NVIDIA, further demonstrates ARM's growing influence in AI computing. The project combines ARM-based Grace CPUs and NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs to create what's being marketed as the world's smallest AI supercomputer. So here you go on ARM. It looks like they're still full ahead with Project Stargate and all of that. So ARM doing pretty good here. Remember, we did have, here, let me go back to the news here real quick. Let me share this. Looks like we did have some more re-ratings here today. ARM, this was a beat on the top and the bottom line yesterday, beating on EPS and also there on revenue. They narrowed their EPS view to 156 to 156 to 164. That was from 145 to 165. So it looks like they brought the floor up considerably and pretty much left the top end of that range unchanged. It is down a cent here. They revised their guidance, but it's not terrible. Projects revenue growth of 32% driven by AI. And then we had a whole lot of price target raises here today. Citi, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Mizuho, all raising their price target here. Goldman Sachs, they maintain their buy. So analysts here still looking pretty good here for ARM. So I guess I'm asking, through all of that, is the minus 4.5% post earnings here. Is this a buying opportunity? Will this trade with tech? Will this trade with some of the other names? Do you have an opportunity here on ARM? Day trader here. ARM is another play I've held from IPO. Okay. We're going to give you a register ring and a one up for that because that is an awesome trade. Well done. Not touching until 200 at least. Well, I've got good news for you, day trader. You're not that far away from 200, so you might be touching it pretty soon here. Monster trade. I think that you probably paid around that $60 on the IPO. Maybe you were a part of the deal and had it lower. Regardless, really, really awesome. I have a broker that gives access to IPOs. What broker is that? TD does it, but you generally don't get a lot. I'm pretty sure Interactive Brokers does it, but I've never participated in that, so I'm not sure 100%. But let me know. ARM, Reddit, BSTG, and lately MSIF are all plays I've taken in the last 2 years, and all are up. Okay, well, that is awesome. If you think that 2025 is actually going to have more mergers and acquisitions, perhaps 2025 will be a good year for you. I would be curious to know if there are any IPOs you are looking into, like Cerebras, Databricks. Is it AI related? Are there maybe other IPOs that you're looking for? I am definitely interested in that. Mighty Soldiers, Andy from Mighty Soldiers Trades. Good morning, boss. Thank you for all your support and hard work. Can't wait to have you on again at some point. Friend of the show here. Jonathan Cooper, ARM, our chip designers and licensing, I thought. Who's using the product? Is there equipment? Is that where the real money is at? Sorry, they are chip designers. I'm pretty sure that their chips are used in a bunch of, they were just talking about the collaboration with NVIDIA. So I guess, I don't know. Is that where I guess I'm not really sure what you're asking, Jonathan. Let me know. Let me know if I just totally didn't get it. They're Bobby saying they're sandbagging the forecast. That should make it easier to beat next time around, no? And also Paul mentioning here that Fidelity gives you access Axes. I know you meant access to IPOs. So, okay, good stuff. You paid 51 for ARM shares. It looks like you were answering there. SoFi was the broker that you got there. That is actually really awesome. SoFi is the broker that gives you pre-IPO issues. Awesome. Okay, well, really good stuff there, day trader. Thanks for sharing. And hell of a trade, by the way. 51. You know, I'm just going to have a 4x here real quick. I'd like to know what you think, though. Is this a buying opportunity down 4.3% here? No, Jonathan, we've got multiple Jonathans here. Okay, next one here, MicroStrategy. I did want to talk about this. Let's take a look here at the chart. It wasn't really doing anything here this morning. I would have thought for sure MicroStrategy would have had a bigger reaction to earnings. I'm glad I didn't play this because, man, oh man, option sellers are the ones that won the day here. On MicroStrategy. Michael Saylor eyes 45% volatility gap between Bitcoin and traditional markets, reveals a new strategy to attract, quote, a large pool of investors, end quote. They also reported earnings. We'll talk about that here in a sec. So here we go. And I definitely want to get more opinions from you folks and what you make of this. And how we actually trade this, because I'll be honest, I don't think that I fully understand this yet, and I'm not sure how I would end up trading this, especially in the face of all of the dilution plans that he had in order to raise more money. But nonetheless, let me go through it here. I'd be curious to know what you folks think of all of this. MicroStrategy is aiming to fill a significant void in the investment landscape between traditional market indices and Bitcoin. CEO Michael Saylor said. The Bitcoin treasury firm holding 471,107 Bitcoins valued at $46.1 billion has pinpointed what Saylor describes as a large pool of investors positioned between traditional assets like the SPY and the Invesco QQQ, which have volatility levels of 15 and 20, and Bitcoin's volatility levels between 50 and 60, and that creates roughly a 45% gap. Okay, I see what you did there. Between 15 vol and 60 vol, that's a big area, Saylor said, outlining the company's strategy to create investment products targeting different volatility preferences. This includes the newly launched Strike Preferred shares offering an 8% dividend yield with Bitcoin exposure. So my knee-jerk takeaway here is that Saylor is recognizing how volatile Bitcoin is and that volatility level might not be palatable for some investors. So as a method of attracting more investors into the MicroStrategy ecosystem, they're going to create other products like this one that pays an 8% dividend here to maybe offset some of that volatility. That's my read on that. Okay, that's my read on that. Chris, I definitely want to hear what you think about this. I'm probably missing something. But that's, to me, that's kind of what it feels like is going on here. Okay, now let's talk about the earnings here real quick. Bitcoin stuff. Okay, actually, I'm going to finish up with this here real quick. MicroStrategy's common stock targets even higher volatility than Bitcoin itself, aiming for 80 to 90 vol while maintaining that Saylor describes as intelligent leverage through a combination of equity issuance and convertible bonds. Remember, they use those proceeds to buy more Bitcoin then. We engineers in the business are, in order to stay volatile, Saylor says, contrasting MicroStrategy's approach with traditional corporate treasury options to typically minimize volatility. Sorry, if this is all kind of technical and maybe too much too early, I totally get it. Like I said, I wanted to hear what you folks think about MicroStrategy's suggestion here. Let me see if you had it here. Then you wanted to know the jobs numbers. Market's not even really reacting to it. I'm not really sure. But here, really quickly, while we do that, let me do those. Initial jobless claims, 219,000 versus the 214,000 estimate. Prior read was 208,000. Non-farm productivity quarter over quarter, 1.2 versus the 1.5 estimate. The prior read was 2.3. S&P futures here, not barely even reacting, up 0.2%, 0.19% right now. So market looks to kind of just shaking that print off. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot there. Thank you for producer. For putting those out there. The non-farm payrolls tomorrow is likely to be the big mover, not the initial jobless claims here today. There we go. Heard they rebranded themselves as Strategy, removing the micro from the name. Yeah, and actually, I don't know if you caught that while I was reading that, Bigabees, but the writer actually did that, and just out of habit, I read right through it by reading MicroStrategy. That is going to be a habit hard to break, but I will try and get to that. Okay. Okay. That was MicroStrategy. Let me catch up where I'm at on my note sheet. Sorry about that. I got lost there for a sec. Next. Oh, okay. Oh, here we go. And then the initiative came as and here, this I wanted to cover here real quick with the earnings. The initiative comes as Strategy reported a fourth quarter revenue of 120.7 million, missing the analyst estimates of 123.25 million. However, the company significantly accelerated its Bitcoin acquisition, purchasing 218,000 Bitcoin for 20.5 billion in the fourth quarter alone. So those numbers pretty eye-popping. MicroStrategy owns more Bitcoin than any other company by a large margin, like exponentially large margin there. So there you go. Next story here that I really quickly wanted to mention. I don't know how much there is that we actually need to cover, and then we'll talk about Disney. This is going to be on DeepSeek here. DeepSeek's AI models drive surge in Chinese tech stocks, closing the gap with the U.S. Magnificent Seven. Now, what I would think right off the top of my head here, take this with a grain of salt. That's just me. I'll let you make your own decisions here. But Chinese technology stocks are witnessing a surge, as we've seen. The Hang Seng Tech Index, which includes major players like Tencent, Alibaba, and Xiaomi, up 10% in the past 2 weeks. At the same time, the broader Hang Seng was only climbed 6%. So tech clearly leading the way up here. According to Bloomberg, the 30 companies in the Hang Seng Tech Index had an average price to earnings ratio of 20.5 times. In comparison, the Mag 7 giants traded at an average of 41.4 times. So we've talked a lot about price to earnings ratio here. We talked about it actually, I believe, yesterday or the day before, as far as semiconductors and what normal earning or price to earnings multiples are on that. Here you go. They're saying that the Chinese companies here have a lower price to earnings multiple, and that makes them more attractive. I'll let you be the judge of that. Chinese equities and especially technology companies are priced at a steep discount compared to the American counterparts, a strategist at U.S. money manager Invesco David Chow told the publication. Yeah, I think there are some pretty good reasons for that, no? Just saying. Anyway, that is what's going on here. Now, the last thing that I wanted to talk about real quick before we dive into some of the other charts and the earnings is going to be Disney, ticker DIS. We're going to start with the chart here. Okay, here is your Disney chart. This is interesting because someone asked about this, I feel like maybe even earlier this week. We talked about Disney. This was really teasing a breakout here. I mean, look at this. This thing was absolutely teasing a breakout. We would love to see this get above 120, then maybe 125. I think 13 gave some targets yesterday, but I can't remember them off the top of my head, so I don't want to quote them and be wrong. But basically, this thing really, really looked like it was going to break out, and it didn't. It really just kind of sank yesterday. Now, it did hold here, or it is holding here right at the 20-day moving average. So we'll see what the next move here is for Disney. Now, remember, they reported earnings yesterday morning. So this is kind of the shakeout from that. Really, the question is, where does it go from here? Does it actually bounce from this, or do we trade back down towards this 106 area? I think if we break that, you're probably looking at the 200-day, right? So 200 days here is at 101.50. I wouldn't even be shocked if this thing tested 100 if we were able to break down past 106. So a couple of key levels here from Disney. The thing that we talked about recently was this maybe breaking out and trading above 120. Rejected. Not going to do that, at least not right now. Not ready to do that right now. Bob Iger thinks Disney has an advantage in streaming over Netflix. That's cute, Bob. But no, you don't. Anyway, the news here, Bob Iger believes that ESPN gives the company a significant edge over streaming rivals like Netflix and Amazon's Prime Video. Now, this is really interesting because, we talk a lot about streaming here. I know several of you are into Netflix. So Netflix has been an absolute monster recently. So trying to compare yourself to Netflix here seems silly. And then highlighting ESPN as the reason Look, I'm about as big of a sports fan as there is, and ESPN is not what it used to be. It is absolutely not the leader. And it's really changed. So to try and say that this is one of the reasons that it's better, I don't think I buy Mr. Iger here. Other streamers are getting into the sports game. Disney has the advantage of a menu of sports program that no one else has. Iger said, "Quote: We're on 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. So if you're a sports fan, it's not about one day of boxing or one day of football. It's about sports every single day of the year." I am a sports fan. I am more on the scale of the fanatic fan because I love sports so much. It's part of my blood. It's part of my family. It's what my father did as a professional career. So yeah, I am definitely one of these. I'll tell you this. The channel might be on 365 24/7, but the programming on it isn't great. In fact, some of it is straight up garbage. And so to me, this just seems really kind of fluffy here. I don't really buy any of this. I think Netflix really did a great job. And I think one of the things that's really interesting about Netflix, we had the Tyson Paul fight, which, boxing matches, traditional pay-per-view. People ended up buying Netflix because of that. We had problems with the stream, the quality of the stream. And then they had that completely fixed by Christmas Day where they aired 2 football games. So I don't know. I don't think that owning the ESPN franchise is a huge thing. I don't really think ESPN is driving a whole lot. I think their footprint is actually shrinking, to be quite honest with you. I gather this from other sports fans that I talk to. Really, the only, Sports Center used to be my favorite show on television. I actually, when DVR first came out, I actually would record the most recent Sports Center and just keep the most recent one on there so that I could always go back and be on top of what's going on in the sports world. It's completely changed. It has almost no benefit there. So anyway, just something to consider here on Disney. I'm going to call Mr. Iger's bluff on this. I don't really think so. And I think it's very, very clear. Netflix is the absolute king when it comes to streaming, the absolute king. There's no one really even close to that. Okay, that is the news here real quick. Let's see. I'm gonna have to go back and read some of that stuff. All right. Nick says, even on the international market, what are you asking? Is Netflix still king on the international market? I would say yes, right? I'm not sure what you're asking. Let me know if that is indeed what you're asking. Okay. What else do you folks want to take a look at? You want to take a look at the LAES chart? That's actually one of the movers here. Let's start with the chart here and see what's going on. I do have a host of movers here, and I am expecting 13 any minute. So we should be able to get to that here. Here is your LAES chart. We're going to start with the daily, and then we'll move into some of the other time frames here. You can see that this also is part of the drone theme. There's, I believe, drone products as well as drone defense products from this company. They also advertise on TV all the time. They have commercials about this, all that stuff. So this is out there. This has been a huge run recently. The pullback here, I actually think is really good for trading, right? We pulled all the way back to the 50-day moving average. We actually recaptured it. We're trading above the 20 here on the daily. RSI looks pretty good. MACD looks like it's about to flip. The histogram looks like it's about to flip back over. Let's take a look inside and see what's going on here. We had a nice little day yesterday, and we're holding those gains here today, up 17% from the close yesterday. Let's see. Here we go. Here is your news from yesterday. Again, this was yesterday morning. Seals to host a quantum day at NVIDIA's roundtable and closing bell ceremony on February 11th. So we got a PR yesterday morning, which probably drove the stock through yesterday's session, about a event that is happening on February 11th. Now, for context there, February 11th is going to be Tuesday of next week. Did it give us a time on this? Because there's also, I think Ondas is presenting next week on the 12th. I'll look that up here in a sec. And I wanted to pay attention to the time here. I don't see a time on this. I don't see a time on this, but I would expect either headlines or a PR or some type of news or something to come out on Tuesday next week, that February 11th. Looks like they're going to be at the NASDAQ. So, managing director, CEO, and founder. So this will be interesting. It'll all be about quantum and AI. So it should have headlines coming out of here. I don't know what's going to be reported or where this is going to go, Izzy. But clearly it's moving on that. Wise key price target raise. Wise key. Or Maxim might have also had a rating here on, I don't know. I'm not sure why that is in there either. Okay, so that's what's going on here with LAES. Obviously, we're getting another little ramp here today. As far as trading this, one of the things that I would definitely be looking for here is going to be volume like yesterday, right? I mean, look at how elevated the volume was. Looks like we're kind of trading up on some more relative volume here today with the catalyst looming for early next week. Pre-market, we got a little bit of a volume spike here, so not really surprised to see LAES continue to trade up here. Let me see. John saying, not a fan of LAES debt ratio. So there you go. And sorry for the confusion. I meant on international sports. Is ESPN valuable or not? I'm very unfamiliar with their international market. I don't think so. I am not 100%. I don't want to say with certainty, Nick. I don't want to say with certainty, but I will say I've got two pretty good friends that are also very much into sports that live abroad. One lives in London. The other lives in Spain. They never talk about ESPN. They never mention ESPN. They never talk about it as a TV channel. Let me do a little bit more poking around for something more concrete. So I'm not just relying on anecdotal stuff that I've got. But my knee-jerk reaction to your question is that their international exposure is not very valuable. Let me dig into that though. Let me dig into that. Okay. Let's see. Let's bring 13 on. How about that? I know you guys want to get to the movers. Let's go ahead and bring him on, and let's talk about all of these charts. We'll start with LAES since I have it up here. 13. Good morning. Happy day, boss. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I heard you talking about some of these companies, and I'm like, yeah, let's look into these movers. LIPO. This could get going here in just a moment and make some new pre-market highs. We're at 750 right now, but I'll get to that in a minute because I looked into this one quite a bit to see what's going on with that. But let's talk LAES. What's the news here?
Okay, well, so again, just to kind of recap, the news here was a PR yesterday about them presenting at the NASDAQ site early next week on Tuesday, February 11th. So I suspect that the PR yesterday is kind of what drove the increased trading action on LAES. And then today you kind of have the relative volume effect, maybe pushing that a little bit higher. We did have a move higher here in the pre-market, but I didn't see any fresh news for that move higher. Yeah, all of this stuff here is from yesterday morning. So,
well, I keep seeing more and more, well, not more and more, because they've already said that they think we're going to have quantum capable computers and applications within the next 5 years. That'd be Microsoft. Well, Bill Gates and Google are saying that. They've actually recently just said that this week. I think Google said that yesterday. So, but of course, they also have been developing their Willow chip, and that's the quantum chip. So you could see a lot more, a lot more traffic coming towards the quantum stocks way, because it's still very much a conversation and a lot of conflicting accounts about how far out the technology actually is. We have Jensen saying 20 years sounds about right, but you have Gates and Google and Microsoft as well, and a handful of others saying no, it's likely within the next 5 years or so.
And I will say here a little bit of a mea culpa on this one. I'm sorry, man. I totally mixed this up. Izzy, you were mentioning that this is a quantum play. I think I had said that this was also a drone and drone defense play. I'm sorry. That was a total mistake. And look, it was made in good nature. The drone and drone defense play is LASE, not LAES. Sorry, guys. made a
It's not
mistake.
your fault.
I'm
That's
human,
their
man.
fault.
I'm human. That's how it goes. I appreciate the correction. I do think that stuff is important. I really dislike making mistakes, but if you've ever seen Sunset Boulevard, you can appreciate this. I make many mistakes, and I don't anticipate that changing here. So I appreciate the correction. Sorry about that, but I confused it for a good reason.
These companies that love to get their tickers so close to each other. Stellantis and Tesla are the ones that always come to mind.
No, that's not a bad one, but honestly, Tesla, it's that Tanzania Life Sciences, right?
Oh yeah,
TSLA. I did it again, dude. TLSA. I'm telling you, and I've actually bought the wrong stock. That's the embarrassing one. Mixing up the tickers, you'll do that all the time. People mess up tickers, delete tweets, correct tweets all the time. Actually trading the wrong stock, that's another level of being dumb. I've been there before. So this Tanzania Life Sciences is 65 cents. Hopefully nobody makes that mistake.
LAES does have a nice setup here going into the open. So I mean, we could even see a move over 459 in the pre-market here. Just watch the volume. That's really all it's going to take at this point because the setup's there. So we get an expansion in volume. Look for that break of 459, 460, and where would this go? Let's see. This could
all about the volume.
Yeah, this could end up running up to maybe 525 before we starting to get into
Bingo.
Some resistance.
Bingo. And then I have 688 after that.
Yeah, that gap fill. Yep.
There you go.
I see that too. So those would be the next upside levels there for LAES. Just need to get that volume going.
Okay. We'll see if we can get that really good stuff. Let's flip over to the movers. Let's keep rolling with the movers. Then we can do ticker time for you folks. Yep. As we finish that off. Okay.
And I will get to Google Hustle and Bustle and Diamond Hotline. How many trades do I make per day? It depends. Like when I was having computer problems, I made 0. But usually on an average day, if we've been getting good volume, it'll be like maybe as few as 5 or as many as 15 or 20. It just depends on how good the day is, but it varies.
Yeah, I try to, and I mean, I know he just asked you, but I'm going to answer also. A lot depends on the setups. A lot depends. Yeah. Do I feel good about what's going on? Is there multiple things that are moving around? Mm-hmm. Yesterday, I made one trade. I got stopped out for a small loss. And one of the reasons that I kind of dialed it back is because a lot of my holdings were getting obliterated yesterday. It was a rough day. I actually finished it down like this is, I almost can't believe this. I was down substantially and I finished down $12 at the end of the day. I can't believe how much I caught. I walked away from yesterday thinking, shit, that was a win. Yeah. I mean, honestly, that was a win. Like I didn't make any money, but man, it looked like I was going to lose pretty hard and it wasn't really that at the end of the day. So anyway, we'll go from there. LIPO is going to be the next one here.
Yep.
Ticker LIPO, Lapella Pharmaceuticals. Lapella Pharmaceuticals shares are trading higher after the company received FDA approval for an expanded access program for LP310 in the oral lichen planus. Mm-hmm. I have no idea what that is. I'm really hoping that you looked it up and researched it because I have no effing idea what that is. Okay.
But that's not the important part, but yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay. Quick look around the horn here real quick. 2.29% of the float shorted. 1 day to cover, so really no squeeze potential here. As far as the float, though, we're under 1 million shares on this one. 986,000 shares in the float. Stock's already traded 37.5 million shares. Oh my, definitely going to be on deck here today. 13, what do you got for this one?
Yeah, that low float is a result of a reverse split they did back on November 8th. It was a 1-for-8 reverse split. The thing about this FDA approval, this is just for expanded access program. What that means is not that the drug is approved to start bringing it to market or anything like that. What it is that because this is still actually in a phase 2A, so they are not finished their clinical trials, and that phase 2A for their LP310, that's supposed to complete their trial by the middle of this year. So that's ongoing. With the expanded access program is if this is a treatment for that you could benefit from, they're basically lifting some restrictions on who is eligible to participate in these clinical trials. So, and the reason you would not be eligible is you have some kind of life-threatening, situation, or your risk of an emergency, situations like that, where if you participated in these, it would be adverse to your health. The expanded access program kind of lifts that restriction so that you can participate and have access to these ongoing trial treatments. So even though that it's not finished with their trials yet, this EAP allows expanded amount of participants that would normally not be able to be allowed to participate. That's what that is.
Okay, real good stuff there. LIPO. We're doing a really good job holding above the VWAP so far.
Yeah, and I mean, it's got a decent. I just had on the 5 minutes. It had a decent setup a moment ago where it looked like it was trying to trade up into the sevens, but seeing how it's getting weak now, it's starting to turn a little bit more bearish. So, and the MACD is, it's trying to slow down. So we might get some more upside here, but I just kind of need to wait and see, because I thought we were going to get some more movement just a moment ago. As far as cash position goes on this company, they don't have a whole lot of it, even though they just recently did a private placement. They still have, so they're going to have some, but I anticipate they'll do another capital raise at some point, especially with the float being as low as it is.
Okay, really good breakdown there. LIPO. This one should be in play here today. Really good stuff. Tom here saying, Ryan, you shouldn't be too hard on yourself. You're dealing with so many different tickers and letters and symbols. It's easy to confuse, and you're doing a great job.
That's right.
I appreciate the kind words. To me, being accurate is extremely important. And so when you see me being hard on myself, what I'm trying to do is hold myself to a high standard. As I said, I make mistakes. And the way I deal with that is I admit mistakes, and I don't run from it. Actually, I had a little bit of a discrepancy with one of the viewers here, Day Trader, the other day. I had said something on air here very, very quickly and gave the impression that I said that he was incorrect when he was in fact not incorrect. It's important for me to correct my own mistakes. I will make them, and I will do my best to correct them. That much I can promise you. I do appreciate the support there, though. And by the way, folks, I have been adding these tickers to the list of stocks that we want to take a look at. PanW, we have Apps, Snap, PanW, and Boeing on the list there. So we're going to get to all of those as soon as we knock this movers list down. Let's keep moving here. Next is going to be QNTM, Quantum Biopharma. And hey, this is back. This has actually been a trader several days this week here, right? We popped on Tuesday on the initial piece of news. Looks like we had another relative volume day higher. It's got quantum in the name, so look out. It can be whatever it wants. And then this morning here, Quantum Biopharma licensed Selly Nutrition retains leading New York investment bank to advise on a capital raise and possible initial public offering following a highly positive results from Unbuzzed, which was, I believe that was the Unbuzzed. This is what we talked about on Tuesday. We actually made several jokes about Unbuzzed earlier. So, here's your piece of news. Stock is up 40% here today. Real quick reminder, 2.23% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover, so really no squeeze potential there. 1.82 million, 1.83 million just about shares in the float there. This one also on deck here. We're in double digits now, 13. What do you make of this one? This thing started Tuesday, actually closed Monday at $3. Today, getting set to open up here at 12. Oh, did we lose 13? Oh, no. Oh no! Say it ain't so. Say we're tell me we're not having problems again. You guys can hear me, right? We're still streaming. Yeah, I see chat being updated here. Maybe just an internet snafu there. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna keep rolling though here. QNTM. Looks like the high here was 13. Let's see what other levels that we have here. We probably don't. This thing. Oh, you know what? Wait a sec. Let me check the split calendar. No, we didn't. I think we checked that on Monday here. Okay. 13. Put the plug back in. I think it might have just been an internet snafu. Anyway, QNTM, next level that we have here, I definitely see some, maybe some potential area there at 16 and then maybe 20 and then 23.75. I mean, my goodness, the range on this thing pretty huge. I don't know if we're going to get any of those crazy levels here today. Let's see if okay, here you go. The 200 EMA on the daily. This is one that we've actually, this is one that we've taken a look at for some of these crazy levels before. This is flashing us a 1403. So I would definitely mark that level off on your chart or in your notes or whatever you do for the trade plan here. 1403. I think the stock probably has the strength to get there. I wouldn't be shocked if that's the case there. Okay, next here on the movers list is going to be CJMB. Was this an IPO yesterday, I want to say? Yes. Callan JMB prices the IPO at 4 per share. This is not one that I've been watching or been on. Let me know if any of you folks are on this one. Callan JMB is a vertically integrated logistics and fulfillment company that provides cryogenic logistics solutions to the life sciences industry through a combination of proprietary packaging. So you know what theme this might fit in? We talked a little bit about longevity maybe being a theme for 2025. Peptides. This is kind of on the back of the GLP-1s, excuse me. It's kind of on the back of the whole weight loss thing. I suspect we're going to see more things in the longevity space here. So it looks like this might actually fit in there. There's really no news other than this initial public offering. So to me, this looks like just continued trading post IPO. I think the only thing that we could probably go off here are technicals, unless some of you have any idea or have maybe followed the story here on CJMB, Callan JMB. Don't really have a whole lot here on a new issue, but IPO yesterday. Pre-market high 1088 here today. Boy, if we really challenge that, that would be something if we challenge that. VWAP here 768 on that one. Okay, AMPS. I don't know if there's a trade here. Hang on a sec. This is Altus Power shares trading higher after the company entered into a definitive agreement to be acquired by TPG. Valuation of 2.2 million. So this is a buyout here. I really don't think there's a trade. I mean, there's no price given. Obviously there's a valuation given here, but there's no actual price given. I'm going to skip this. I don't think there's a trade here on this one, but that's what's going on. This one, however, this was alerted to us in happy hour live yesterday. This is RANI, ticker RANI, RANI Therapeutics Holdings. The news here, RANI Therapeutic Holding shares are trading higher after the company announced new pharmacokinetic. That is a cool word. Pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic data from a preclinical study evaluating the oral delivery of its glucagon-like peptide 1 receptor antagonist semaglutide administered via the RANI pill. So this is GLP-1 in pill form. This stock actually spiked in the after hours to 220. Looks like we tested that area again here in the pre-market. Since then, we've actually lost VWAP, although we're only 6 cents beneath it. Quick look around the horn on this one. About 10% of the float shorted and almost 6 days to cover. So definitely have some squeeze potential there. Sorry, just seeing what happened to 13 there. So definitely has some squeeze potential here, although that float is not gigantic. That short percent of float is not gigantic. The float itself here, 20 million. So we'll see if this ends up getting rolling here. This is really kind of retraced about 50% of that initial move. Kind of like to see that. 160 definitely looks like an area that we're going to need to hold here. In fact, for a day trade here, I'd probably trade this against 160. I think if we give this up, we probably round trip the move. We'll see if we get a cross through the VWAP here to the upside. I'd really want to see that on volume for RANI. Okay. All right. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. 30 minutes to open, 27 minutes to open now. This company is what causes Futurama. I never watched that show, so if there's an inside joke there, I don't think I get it. And I don't think that the issue is with 13's camera today. I actually think it might be with the website. Okay. Good morning. 13 got deep seeked. That's actually funny. CJMB, how many employees? Good question. Good question. Would we get that from their website, do you think? Probably not. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Conditionally accepted. Let me know. Let me know where you normally get that information from, and we can look into that because I'd be curious to know that myself. Anyway, let's go back to the movers tool here and keep hammering out those movers. We took a look at that. Okay, APPS. This is one of the stocks that was on the list from earlier. I can't remember who asked about this, but here you go. This also one of the movers here today. Digital Turbine, APPS. Digital Turbine shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q3 financial results and raised its fiscal year 25 sales guidance. This popped the stock as high as 350 in the after hours yesterday. We are holding this 3 to 350 area, which is a good thing to see. We are beneath the VWAP by about 10 cents, so I'd be looking for a hold here. This sideways action, we definitely want to hold this. I guess 305 to 3 is going to be that support level. We'll see if we can actually trade through the VWAP here. Would love to see us move higher on volume. I would definitely have 340 and 350. I'm expecting to see some size on the offer there that we were going to need to take out to move higher here, but that's what's going on with Digital Turbine. We've seen this stock move before. Worth noting the float on this one a little bit thicker than some of these other ones that we've traded here. 87.38 million shares in the float. Okay, they did report earnings yesterday. Looks like, was that in the after hours? Yes, it was. Let me go ahead and go over to the news tab here. They 13-cent EPS beat the 1 cent loss estimate. That's pretty nice. And sales here, 134.64 million. That beat the 123. So a beat on the top and the bottom line there. They raised their fiscal year 2025 sales guidance from 470 to 485 million to 485 million to 490 million. So they went above the estimate. They went above the top end of the range there. So really good to see here. Unsurprised to see this stock up 22.8%. I actually think this is a pretty good catalyst for this stock here. Okay, so APPS, better than expected Q3 financial results. Higher we go. A beat on the top and the bottom line and a guidance raise above the high end of the range. So that is the trifecta here for a good move. We'll see if we get any good trades here. APPS. Okay, let's see. I think we did all of these, right? IVVD, Martin Scarelli does it again, man. Tell you what, his tweet on this, when it was 90 cents, this thing just ramped yesterday. We got almost as high as 320 in the after hours. Boy, that must have been, I wasn't watching this in the after hours yesterday, but that must have been the Wild West. We're actually holding that here today. This has come pretty far, pretty fast, so I'd be very careful with this. Definitely have your risk profile lined up for this one. But remember where this originated. This was a tweet from the Pharma Bro about liking it, and the stock has since tripled from that tweet. So pretty good timing on his part. But just be careful if you're opening new trades on this here today. IVVD. And then what this thing does again here, clinical stage biopharma company focused on the discovery, development, and commercialization of antibody-based solutions for infectious diseases with pandemic potential. Okay, so there you go on IVVD. I guess it makes sense that Farmer Bro is tweeting about this. That's something that he's looking at. Okay, RNAS blast from what, yesterday? This was a halt fest yesterday. This actually gave a lot of really good trades to, oh, here, 13's back, sorry. 13, let me just ask you, how long have you been?
I've been back.
I know, and no one's slacking me. No one's doing anything here. Did you slack me?
Yeah, I slacked you. I mean, like, there was nothing wrong with my computer. This is all restream. I was having a hard time, getting back in, cleared the cookies. Meanwhile, I'm just watching everything else work just fine.
You did. Nope. Only everything else works fine. Okay. Sorry about that. I just kept going here.
Problem. Restream is just the big problem here.
It doesn't like your computer at all. That's weird. You know
It
what?
was fine. It was fine, like most of last year, and then it just started.
Well, I'll
Having all
tell you
kinds of
what. I'll
problems.
tell you what. We constantly hear from time to time about the delay. I'm going to blame it on restreaming your computer. That's why they don't like each other. So that's why there's the delay. I'm just kidding. Okay. Anyway, did you have anything here on Arnaz? I know this was a big mover from yesterday, or I don't know
No.
how long you've been back there because I've just been going off on the list. If there are any other you want me to go back here and cover, we can do that too.
I was going to mention that LIPO was starting to approach that pre-market high, but it didn't quite get there, and now it's starting to pull. So we'll have to wait and see if there's if there's support from the VWAP coming, if it does start to fall further. But it might have just topped out here, so we might need to wait.
I also have the 15 EMA here at 646, so maybe it finds some support there. It has been riding that up here so far today, so that would at least be one level to watch here. What do you want to do next?
Whatever were you guys thought? Yeah,
Lion starting a vote about your camera. Oh, that's good stuff.
The camera's.
I told him it wasn't your camera. I told him your camera's been fine.
Nope, and it wasn't my computer that time either, because I didn't. Nothing crashed. I haven't had a crash since I fixed the problem.
I was going to say, look, when you reflash your BIOS, you're looking at every metric. 13 would be the first to know if his computer was acting up at all.
Anyway,
what do you want to do? What stock do you want to cover here?
Well, I told I would hustle and bustle. I would look at Google for some levels. So let's see what I can provide for him there.
Okay. While you're getting those levels, there's one more that I wanted to mention here. I'll be very brief. Peloton, ticker PTON. Peloton shares are trading higher following a Q2 revenue beat. The conference call is currently in progress. I haven't listened to anything here. I haven't read the press release and I haven't heard anything on the conference call, but I just want to say that this is reporting for the quarter. They told us ahead of time before the holiday season that they were going to do a deal with Costco and they were going to have the bikes in Costco. I want to know if the quality earnings report had anything to do with that. Nonetheless, Peloton, ticker PTON, up 18% here. They missed on EPS, 24-cent loss versus the 18-cent loss estimate. Sales beat 637 million versus 654 million, so about $20 million more. And then they see fiscal year 25 revenue 2.43 billion to 2.48 billion. That's versus the 2.47 billion estimate. So that's right in line there. Mixed morphing. This is not for Peloton. Looks like there actually, yes, it is. I beg your pardon. Looks like we're getting a PR here about mixed martial arts substantially growing and Peloton being part of the training regimen in that being mentioned here in this
everybody's
PR.
Gonna be kung fu fighting.
I mean maybe. In any case here, Peloton, this actually has provided some pretty decent trading activity in the past. I haven't traded this in what feels like forever, so I'm not really sure how it trades now. We'll definitely watch this here, but just taking a look at this chart here, Peloton really kind of removing the last month of a down move here. I do see some pretty significant resistance here at maybe 9.25 if we get up there. I think this is just some kind of choppy area. I think that resistance is actually another 30 cents higher than where we're at, to be honest. So I think Peloton has some more room to go up, actually. Anyway, did you have anything on Peloton? Do you want me to go over to the stock that you were looking at?
The only thing I've noticed about Peloton is that it was one of the movers this morning. Other than that, I haven't looked at it. Okay.
What stock did you want to look at for hustle and bustle?
He wanted me to give him some levels on Google. So
okay,
we just had earnings not that long ago. I think it was just yesterday, right? Or was that the day before?
It was after hours the day before.
The day before. Okay, so yeah, so we. Sorry, I'm getting all
after hours on Tuesday.
So we already had the drop yesterday, and it looks like we got support from the 50-day SMA, so we held up there. We're going to want to see that continue to hold. Because we lose that and start closing underneath it for several days, we could see further downside and even a gap fill down to the 200-day SMA. So if we continue to get support from the 50-day SMA, we do have a trend line that we've also broken beneath as a result of these earnings that we are going to have to try and get back above. And that trend line today could provide resistance at about 192 and change. Like, let's call it 192 and 15 cents. Might be a little bit higher than that, but that's about where I've got my cursor at. So
okay,
we'll go with that. The top end for today, I would probably say that's going to be about the 20-day SMA. If not there, then 197.50.
Okay.
So how about that? And then somebody had also asked, is BBAI going to continue, or is this done? And after having a conversation yesterday during the happy hour, I'm thinking that this might continue. If this is truly a competitor to Palantir, and like a direct competitor, as we've found out, then this could end up being, it could go much higher. Let's just say that. I think we are due a little bit for some pullback especially after yesterday's run. But when you look at the monthly chart and you see that we have been trying to get above this 480 level and close above it for probably ever since we broke down in June of 22. I think this month could be a pretty wild month for BBAI, and we might even get some pretty good movement over the summer as well after we cool off from this impulse move up.
Okay. Good stuff there on BBAI. Did have a couple. So Kramer said, that's good, producer. Kramer said no to BBAI and yes to Palantir.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm entirely unsurprised to hear that. But thank you also for the article. The couple more stocks that you folks had thrown out, I promised we'd get to. Apps was one of them. We covered it. You guys also wanted to take a look at Snap, PanW, Boeing, and Rigetti. So let me just start with those here. We'll start with Snap. I will say this used to be a great stock to trade. It used to respond very well to unusual option activity. Even trading options, it was inexpensive and they would move and they would be pretty great. It has since kind of given that up here. Snap had a rough day yesterday, and it's a little bit weaker here today. That was on earnings, right? We had the day before, again, Tuesday, we had earnings here. It looks like they beat and traded up and then gave everything back. Is that what happened here? Yeah, beat, traded up, gave everything back. Yesterday was very unkind to them. I wonder if this bottoms here today or if there's some more downside here on Snap.
Was there news that came out of the conference call, or maybe there was something said in there that didn't resonate well with? I mean, it's hard to say that because we had that run in the morning. So profit taking, maybe the peak earnings are in, as we might be thinking it could be in with a lot of tech companies.
Yeah, yesterday in the morning, we did have some analysts step in here. So Citibank maintained their rating, raised the price target from 13 to 15, but Wells Fargo downgraded Snap to equal weight, lowered the price target to 11. We basically went right there.
Okay.
We actually overshot it a little bit there. Snap, Roth, MKM lowered the price target from 14 to 12. I don't use Snapchat, so I don't really know, and I've never really used it. And I know at one point this was popular, especially with the young folk, but I don't know if that's the case anymore. I don't really think that this is a great vehicle to trade anymore. I just don't think it trades well like it used to. It actually, no matter what you think about the company or the product, it actually used to trade pretty well. And it just doesn't do that here anymore. We did see, but sorry, one more thing here. March 21, yesterday, we saw a call sweep, 43 different routes. They swept up 1,863 contracts and paid on average about 44 cents. That is a bullish call sweep right there. That happened, that was about mid-morning yesterday. I don't know if that's going to send it here at all. I'm not interested in Snap. This is a stay away from me.
Yeah, I mean, this has been pretty much going sideways for almost 2 years now. So,
yeah. So John, and I don't have kids, John, so I'm assuming you're getting this from the source, perhaps your kids. Snapchat still popular amongst the kids. You said, no, it is. I think that's in reference to it not being popular. Kids don't text. They literally snap each other.
Okay.
Jaquimi is saying Snap is for boomers. But I'm a boomer, aren't I? Aren't I considered a boomer? I don't have Snapchat. Snapchat is for the streets. Okay.
Well, here's something that you can kind of hang your hat on. You look at their income statements and you see that over time their losses have narrowed, and it seems like they're on a path to turning a profit here, but man, they lose a lot of money. And the other thing is that their share structure is really, really heavy, almost 1 billion shares. So, you're not going to get great rallies like some of these movers that we trade. It's just a heavy stock. It's not going to, the rule of large numbers comes into play. It's going to be very, very hard to move this, high to the pandemic levels again, when it was like getting up to 80. Jeez, 8 times higher back then. So I have a hard time believing we're going to ever see that again, unless they change their share structure, because that is just a lot of weight to move.
Yeah, and I love the context here from the chat. Izzy saying my son lives on Snapchat. John saying one of my employees is 19. I also heard Joe Rogan. I heard that same Rogan pod say his kids literally don't text except for the family. They snap pictures and add text to the picture. John saying no way you're a boomer. Yeah. I mean, look, the young kids call me a boomer. That's why I said that. I'm 40, so.
Let me ask all you folks that have kids that are doing that. Do they have iPhones and they're doing Snapchat on iPhones, or do they have a different type of phone, and that's why they're using Snapchat? Because I would have thought that if you're in that Apple ecosystem, you're probably less likely to use Snapchat. But that would just be my thought. You guys tell me if that's what you're seeing.
So conditionally accepted, Fairchild, and John, I appreciate all of you for removing the boomer nomenclature or the boomer title from myself. Martin saying my teen only uses Snap. Wist says I use Snap to talk to my European cousins. My 21-year-old boy, I think is what you're saying there, Dana, uses Snap all the time. Okay, so this is clearly like still being used. The stock, though, not great here. I think this might be more than just users then, right? I think perhaps they're just not executing on making money, frankly. I use Snapchat once a day to maintain my streaks. Streaks, what is that? Again, I don't use it, so... John, okay, boomer. John, damn it. I walked into that one, John. You got me. Zane saying both my kids are deep into Snapchat still. Okay. 5 grandkids here, all iPhone, they all Snap. All right. Well, it's clearly, I appreciate that. It looks like it's still being used here. I don't know what to make of that, though, for the stock trading, though.
Izzy with some scary statistics. Snapchat is huge. 11-year-old and 14-year-old Snapchat rooms.
Yeah, that's
a little scary.
I was going to say that just feels dirty.
Well, it's. I mean, predators in this coming. I mean, that's the first place my mind goes. It's like, okay, well, that's a concentration of where children hang out. That's just. I hope there's enough security measures in place for that. That's just scary to me. That's one of the reasons why I don't want my kids on Snapchat. Anyway.
Okay.
We're not going to get into that.
Yeah, I was going to say, look, the stock doesn't look great here. This actually looks like it's rolling over. We did have a double bottom put in here at about 8.5. Maybe it gets a bounce at 10. I don't like this, though. I don't like this. Okay. Let's keep rolling here. I did want to do a Pan W real quick. Someone asked about this earlier. I'm waiting for another move back down here. I will say, though, if we make a strong move up towards 200, I will probably try and trade this as a continued momentum trade. What I've been doing with Pan W as far as trading is waiting till it really comes into a support level. However, I really truly believe that cybersecurity is going to continue to be a big theme here in 2025. Pan W, my top pick for that. So I'm willing to trade this for momentum. I'd probably use calls to do this. The next time this comes into a support, I may double dip and use options and some stock in order to trade this. Because again, I would like to trade this for more than just some short-term trades here. You can see we've made a great move off the 200-day. We've actually, on that move up, we've actually kind of retraced and back test the 20. We're in the process of testing the 50. I wouldn't be shocked if you traded above this and held, if we're able to go higher here. The last time it traded above the 50-day, it closed one time above the 50-day, and then the next day it gave it back. We have another attempt here in fairly short order. I would be unsurprised if this had better results the second time around. So maybe watch a cross here through 188 on Pan W. I really do think this is going to test 200 here in the near future. What it does from there, we'll see. We'll rejudge that when we get there. So this is my thought on PanW. No current position. I like it. I'm looking for it long. At this point, because we're, kind of in no man's land. I don't want to say no man's land, but we're not really at a great support level here. In order for me to trade this on a momentum style trade, I really needed to take out some of those higher levels. Were you trying to get in there, 13?
Well, I was going to mention, because other folks are talking about it, BBBAI is trying to push up through VWAP. And also, yes, folks, I realize that it's the friends that are in the Snapchat group mostly, so I understand that. But with BBAI, mark these levels off: 680, 715, and $8. Those were levels. I was talking about the 680 level yesterday during this show, but in happy hour chat, I was talking about some other levels for continued upside that we're making our way towards. We hit 715 yesterday, and $8 is the next one that looked good to me. We hit that in the pre-market. The pre-market. So, and then we went back down and tested those other two levels, 715 and 680, before we reversed. So those are in play today, and I'll give you another level here.
So real quickly here, because you went through them pretty quick there. 715 or 680, 715, and 8.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll give you some more upside levels next, because we did print a little bit above 8 in the pre-market here, 821. So we could definitely come back up to that and go higher. But let me identify some more levels for you. We can look at pretty soon here. We have 5 minutes before you open. I'll get them out there for you.
Yeah. Okay. Real quick here. I want to cover Boeing, and then David Callahan. You were asking if we've covered strategy. I kept calling it micro strategy, so at least you were able to miss that. But yeah, we did cover that. I will say it was kind of unexpected that it didn't really move. Let me go back there here in a sec. I did really quickly want to cover Boeing. So shout out Staff Sergeant Ryan, who's been a longtime supporter of what we're doing here. Always looking at Boeing and always forcing me to look at Boeing and kind of reevaluate my position here. I did nibble here on Boeing, and I'd be interested in adding some more if we show some strength here today. I do think Boeing might test this the $200 price level. We do have the 500-day ahead of it here, so we'll see what happens at 193 if this continues to go up. I'm actually up on this position. So I used options here, and actually let me get you the exact strike and expiry that I used. On Boeing, I'm in the March 200 calls. And there's actually one of the reasons I selected that is because there was a ton of open interest at that strike. Sure looks like Boeing is going to try to get pushed up there. We obviously have the Golden Cross going on. That was one of the things that pretty much drove it yesterday. I'm hoping for some more move up there towards 200. If it found resistance at 193, I'd peel partial and book gains on that. I would do the same if it just went straight to 200, and I'm going to try, as per our discussions here, and leave a trailer on to capture any more upside if we get it. But the target that I'd be looking for here, 193 to 200 on Boeing. And again, shout out Staff Sergeant Ryan for putting this on my radar.
That's a good level. It looks like 192, 50 or 60 might actually be the more accurate level based off the June 10th high. But I like that 193, especially with the 500-day SMA right there as well.
Okay. Good stuff there. Was there something else that?
Yeah, I have a few more levels here for BBAI.
Let's do it.
So you can also mark off 925 and 1050, but also let's put $10 in there just as well, because that is the SPAC price. This was a SPAC formerly.
Okay, 925 and 1050. You said.
Mm-hmm. And then if we want to also consider
there's already damn it, I pressed the wrong button. There's already a line at 10 on my chart.
Perfect. Okay.
I mean, it's not a drawn line. It's a price level line because it's a round number. It's a joke, but not a very good one. Here we go. Those lines are added. We'll take a look at some of those levels here again. And we were just talking about the 500-day on Boeing, and so I spent a lot of time trash talking this trade because it's been so awful to me since I started buying it, despite the food in the store being amazing. They've never closed a store. How many times do I have to say it? Portillo's has never closed a store. Yet somehow the stock was an absolute piece of garbage. Thank God I was adding to this in the 8 handle. My initial position was around 20. I've since added on the way back down here to lower my cost basis. Portillo's has made a great run off of the bottom, but one of the things that I'm watching right here is this interaction at the 500 day. We went pretty much right to it, and while that's great, the next question that I have is there more room to move on this? Are we going to actually break through this 500 day, or are we going to use this as resistance? On my chart here, this is the first interaction I have with it. Also worth noting that we've broken a pretty substantial downtrend that I guess if you really extended this line, I guess you could say that this downtrend was going on since 2022. So I'm excited about this. This trade has by no means worked. I do not recommend that anyone go after this. I've really had to be patient. I've had to hold some pretty heavy Italian beef bags, but hopefully those are going to be lightened here pretty soon. Hopefully we break above this 500. My cost base is down in the 16s now, so I'm almost back. I refuse to let this one go. We'll see. Less than a minute. Yep. We're open. It was less than a second, actually.
We're pretty close there. One thing about Portillo's, you have a falling wedge that we have broken out of. So I would anticipate a back test of that wedge, which could take it down to about, in the 12 handle. And we're open.
Nick saying, Ryan, you just can't stop saying I hate it and then buying more. You're a Portillo's addict. Fact check, true. I can't even dispute that. That is correct. Just let me get out of this trade because the trade hasn't been great. I was hoping for better. Once we get out of the trade, then we'll return to normalcy. LIPO here, 665. This actually looks like this is trying to go here.
Yeah, LIPO.
I'd be careful with that one. Let that maybe simmer down a little bit.
And it looks like BBAI making its way up to 8. And
sorry, just looking at the opening print here across the board. Okay. Pretty decent open. What's wrong with my signals tool? What's wrong with my halt resume tool? There we go. Jay Rice, I saw you earlier. Good morning, Jay. Jay, I will say yesterday I was sitting on my couch and I was thinking to myself, damn, this would have been the day that I would have been down in Arizona and I didn't make it this year. And then I thought about all of the plane bullshit that's going on right now, crashes and all that other stuff. And I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of glad I didn't travel this year. Miss ya. But I did notice that EAF is reporting earnings tomorrow morning. Do you have any insight on that print? Are you still holding? Are you holding into that print? Are you expecting anything? Curious to know. I know they report in the morning.
Anybody having an issue getting fills with BBAI?
I have not tried to trade that yet.
Yeah.
Well, is your broker rejecting anything? Are you getting an error message at all or what?
It's not filling. But I guess whatever. I canceled the position. So, well, it's pulling now. So,
one more thing that I wanted to mention here. I guess I'll do a quick look around the horn. Peloton did break its pre-market high there. Volume also looks really good here. IVVD, remember this was the Pharma Bro. This rejected so far at its VWAP. Might not be done. Maybe keep an eye on that VWAP and see what happens there. APPS, this was asked about earlier. This has now broken through the after hours high. Jay, it's not this morning, it's tomorrow. EAF, Graph Tech, the little guy that you had told us about a while ago, actually. That was several weeks ago, I feel like at this point. They report earnings tomorrow. I'm just wondering if you have any line on that report or anything like that. CJMB is halted here to the upside. Looks like this was a dash to the VWAP.
LAPO triple topped first high in 750 in the pre-market, as was the second one. And out of the gate here, we have potentially the third one here. If we lose 6, then I think we may end up seeing some support closer to 515.
Okay. That's coming back into the VWAP there. I've got that VWAP at 595. Uber, this is a nice move out of the gate.
We have
I got to think Izzy's on this. Nick, you mentioned this.
We have Bitcoin pushing up
98 or 99,000 there on the futures chart, Bitcoin. One thing that I really quickly wanted to mention here regarding one of my longtime holdings, Ondas, which this is awesome, popping out of the gate here. I did want to remind you folks, we got news on Monday that they are going to present at the TD Cohen's 46th Annual Aerospace and Defense Conference. As a reminder, that is 9:15 a.m. Wednesday, February 12th. So next week, we may get PRs about this company. We may hear things out of that conference. It may impact the stock price. So whatever your trade thesis is your own, but just know that this event is happening on Wednesday morning, right ahead of the open, and that might affect the price here. Ticker ONDS, up 12% here today. I'll take that out of the gate. Okay, I don't. It's just a small bet on a turnaround. Okay, so you have no line on the earnings report. Maybe you're mentioning there it's a small bet on a turnaround. Maybe we get some more of that turnaround after those earnings. It does look like it's done a really good job defending this 141 area. I actually made money the first time I traded this around. Maybe I'm going to add some of this here today. You know what? I'm going to take a starter right now. F it, Jay. Taking a starter right now. If this doesn't work, I hold you responsible.
Folks mentioning RCAT, ONDS, and IONQ. So we are getting some more of those speculative names from the end of last year on the move. Let's take a look at the watch list for the space theme and see how that's doing. Not too bad. WiseKey and ASTS are the highest ones up today. The losers today aren't really losing too much at all. We have SIDU, Cytospace, down less than 0.5%. Same thing with Rocket Lab. Looks like they're all about to turn green, to be honest.
Okay. Did add starter here, EAF. Jay, I'm in with you. Let's see how the earnings report goes tomorrow. Let's see how it goes. Your bets on turnarounds have been pretty good. So I'm going to follow you in on that. We'll see. Peloton, new highs here above 950.
LAES has a Head and Shoulders that was created in the pre-market. We're resolving that now. Might get support closer to the lower end of 4. We're approaching that. We're almost there. So might actually see some more support around 405. Now, if we lose that, then the next area of support that I see is going to be down around 380 to 385.
Okay. I've got that 200 EMA on the 5 at 387. So that lines up pretty well with that area you were just talking about. LIPO, look at this bounce off the VWAP so far. 601, that VWAP level. LIPO bouncing here.
Has not been able to recapture VWAP yet. Still at this moment looks weak to me. But if we can recapture 670, that might be better going forward. It's just that we have not been able to get and hold above 725 yet. So I think that's an important level to watch for as well.
NBIS traded down out of the gate here a little bit. Apple trading higher. Amazon, let's take a look here at Amazon. This one, AMZN. This, again, reporting earnings here tonight. Looks like they were higher in the pre-market, tried to run out of the gate here and came back. I almost wonder, is this a potential buy area?
Let's see here.
These little wicks beneath. I would trade this against 237. You know what? Let me do some of this too. AMZN. Buy some right here. Okay, just got 237.61 is my spot there. We'll see if we can turn around here, get above 239. Is he? Let's see. Trade this against 237.
The monthly on Amazon is starting to look a little concerning with this month and last month kind of creating a series of upper shadows. We could see, I mean, we're anticipating that the market is supposed to correct at some point, this first half of the year. At least that's what the expectation we've been talking about is. So this could be a signal that there's some topping out in Amazon. Probably won't see that weakness until maybe next month because we're only in the second month of this topping out here. And while that still could pull, I think maybe one more month would need to be put in before we start to see that breakdown.
Oh my God, Zippity Doo, 100,000 eggs stolen as Pennsylvania tried to crack the case. Okay, that's a decent dad joke there. But I will say, someone stole 100,000 eggs. That might have been a nothing burger years ago. With the price of eggs now, bro might be wealthy.
Yeah, people are gonna be shelling out cash for that.
All right, Amazon, come on, Amazon, turn around here. Izzy, you're saying no Amazon until earnings. I am not trying to hold this through earnings. Just to be clear on that, I'm trying to day trade this here, and it did look like maybe we were holding this area. Stop here, 237. We'll see if we get it. Lion says, good entry, Ryan. I'm in.
BBAI down to 715. This is one of the levels of the downside. That was an upside level yesterday, so we could get some support here. Let's see if it holds. Okay. Egg felonies are about to be a thing.
What do you think about Tesla? Yassine is asking. Let's take a look here at Tesla. Amazon turning around here. We'll see. I'm going to give that a sec here. I actually didn't put a stop out there. It's more of a mental stop. So I'm going to keep my eyes on it. Yeah.
I just got to say, I appreciate you guys that got the joke. Don't blame Ryan. He's got a lot going on. He's working on a whole bunch of stuff and doing great. So he may be a little bit scrambled.
No. Thinking about it says, give us more of the dad yokes.
We're coming in hard with them.
Look, thinking about it just says, okay, I see your joke and I raise you another joke. Thinking about it, I will. Jamie Dimon saying, I wonder who hatched that plot. You guys are not letting us down today. That much I can tell you. Not letting the group down. Anyway, Tesla here. Back to some seriousness. Tesla actually lost the pre-market low right there. Down 2.5% here. 13. Didn't we have a level from the daily chart that we were just looking at on Tesla? Let me go to my bigger one. We might have actually broke that.
So one thing I'm looking at the SPY right now, and one thing I'm seeing here is in the pre-market we got up to almost 606, and then we came down to about 604.30, got some support, and then we made another attempt at 606 and got rejected there too. So that might be a double top. I'm just waiting to see if there's going to be a little bit more poultry.
Wait, what?
He's not on the jet jokes today. I'm thinking the market could pull some more.
Did you say poultry?
Yes, because we're on the egg joke.
Gotcha. Got it. Okay, I'm just making sure that I'm staying up to speed there.
Steven, oh God, I love you guys. You're just coming in hard with the dad jokes today. We're not going to stop either.
Which one today?
Just read the chat. You'll be fine.
Exactly why I love this channel. Let's go. All right, Tesla here. The level that I was talking about was this one right in here. It's 373 area. We did break that here. I'll be honest, to my eye, we do have a consolidation area here in the 340 handle, low 340s, but we have that 100-day at 331. I think I like Tesla lower here.
Yeah, let's
I think I like Tesla lower here. I do think it'll bounce, but let's let it come in a little bit.
Yeah, 360 looks like a good spot for some support. That was a resistance area back in November and December last year on our way up through this breakout that we had. Are they still?
Well, day trader, I can appreciate this. I can appreciate this a lot. Ryan sounds scrambled. He was trying to get this joke in there, but because we've actually had audio issues, he figured I'm going to add a JK at the end just so we don't freak out about that. This is well done. Yeah, at least you got the joke out there. Gary says, you guys crack me up like those eggs, right, Gary? Amazon, come on, 238. Let's get above. Let's roll 240 maybe. I'm not holding this trade through the print. Lion, I know that you had mentioned that they had earnings tonight. You might on your trade, and that's fine. I'm telling you right now, the plan from the outset of this trade was not to hold it through the print. By the way, breadth on the market, green across the board. SPY, Dow, Qs, Russell, Nice, all green on the breadth. Giddy up. We've got some strength.
Yeah, Tesla. I just to wrap that one up, 360 looks like a really good support area. If it doesn't get it there, then 350, like I think a lot of folks are saying.
Costco is trading higher out of the gate. Apple is actually really ripped. Let me go back to the main workspace here.
QNTM also getting a mention here. That was a mover from yesterday, I believe. Still has some room to go here, but suspended, halted to the upside. We are okay. So 13, the dollar, not me, in QNTM, that appears to be the resistance area so far in the pre-market, and now that could be the resistance or the breakout level in the regular session. Depends on how what happens out of this halt. My guess, if we are going to continue with this momentum, because that is a very bullish looking candle, we could break out over 13. This looks that way.
Okay.
Looks like
I'll break out over 13, and maybe we have a sunny side up trade here.
Yeah. On the other hand, it could be a little bit bearish, but I think because we're halted to the upside, and usually when we unhalt, we don't usually see the big pull of the market coming in or the stock coming in until like after the second or third. So my thought is that we might see a breakout over 13.
LIPO, by the way, this is trying to regain its VWAP right now. Watch this one here, LIPO. Amazon, by the way, that little dip there out of the open. Izzy, maybe I'm onto something here with your buying the dip on some of these names here. Come on, Amazon. I was trying to get your chart up here. What are you doing? Little dip, little move higher. Let's go. Let's keep this going. You're shouting Uber from the rooftops here. Oh my God. There. Good stuff, Izzy. Good stuff.
I don't want to say it's not going to turn around, but LIPO looks like it may come down some more before it rebounds. I'm just not liking the way this looks at the moment.
Lion Atlas here. I love that you're giving the strategy of your trade here. I'm going to sell my Amazon calls before the close, but I'll keep one contract on for a runner. That is with the theme there. Good stuff. Good stuff, Lion. LTRY, Gary, this is the penny play that's spiking out of the gate here. APPS, this is the one that we were watching earlier, one that we got asked about earlier. I think I said that the levels there were probably 340 and 360. Looks like both of those levels have been knocked down now.
REBN, Reborn Coffee, this was moving yesterday and it's moving now.
This is not the mushroom coffee, is it?
I don't know.
That's Rise, right? RIZE. Let me check that real quick. I've been seeing, I'll be honest with you, I don't like mushrooms. And I can't imagine that mushroom coffee tastes good, but they say that it does, and they say it's good for your brain. Rise Coffee. Let me make sure that I'm thinking about the right thing. Yeah, Rise Mushroom Coffee, RYZE. That is what it is. Okay, so not the same.
Who was mentioning BlackBerry this morning?
You.
I didn't say it this morning. Somebody in the chat was mentioning BlackBerry. One of the things that I noticed about BlackBerry on their monthly chart is that every time in the past 10 years, which has only happened twice and might happen the third time pretty soon, but every time that the price gets closes over the 20 and 50-day SMAs, monthly SMAs, it tends to go on a rally. It happened in 2017. It happened in 2020 and 21 when there was a meme stonk. And now it's starting to look like February might be the month where it closes above the 50 month again. And we'll know if we're getting there if the price starts moving over 580. I don't know where the price could end up if it starts to go on a rally, but it's just something to watch for because this stock has been moving up pretty good. And that's one of the things that stood out to me when I looked at their longer term chart.
Sorry, I'm flipping through some names here.
No worries.
CGC and ACB, these ran yesterday. It looks like they're holding higher today. We'll see if they have a run in them. You guys were saying Rise Coffee is delicious. Okay. So is it worth trying even if I don't like mushrooms? You're saying it is worth trying. Interesting. Daniel saying apps running like I call. Daniel, that was a good call. We'll give you a one up for that. We gave you some of these levels here. It's broken all of them. I think 4. It's closing in on 4 here, isn't it?
Quantum 10-minute halt. That's how long it's been halted.
Ryan gets all his stock picks from Al Booman. Who's that? Is that a joke that I'm not getting here? AI Booman? Al Booman? Does anyone get this joke?
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know either. Sorry, you're gonna have to draw me a map.
If it's AI, then he's probably saying that you get your pitch from some AI that you asked.
Does ChatGPT? Does anyone know? Does ChatGPT tell good jokes, or is that like not a thing? I guess I could always just test
Al
that.
Bundy. Is he? I don't know.
I mean, I hope not. By the way,
salesman.
APPS, we just mentioned this at 380. This is going to 4 here.
Look at Reborn. That just had a nice move.
Lottery halted to the upside for you penny players. That was a good mention. When we looked at this earlier, this was around 60 cents.
Looks like RNAS about ready to push into that pre-market high area. At least it's setting up to.
Oh. Thinking about it, just showing that he's just much smarter than me. Is that albumin is the whites of the eggs. I just call them egg whites.
Yeah, I don't even know.
But this is good. This is good.
Thank you for the lesson.
Yeah, you learn something every day. DeepSeek does Ryan. I don't even know what that means. But we out here. That's okay. Anyway, good stuff here on some of these trades, folks. LIPO, this is totally rolled over. Amazon is also rolled over, which I'm a tad disappointed about, but we'll see.
Getting asked by Tyler, do we think REBN is a technical recovery after falling?
Let me put this chart up, 13, and I'm going to step away for 1 sec while you answer that question. Okay. REBN, right? Reborn. REBN. Here you go.
So on the daily chart, it looks like it's coming off a support area, that being about 450. It had a decent day yesterday on the recovery because it was Tuesday, I think, that it really came down and got the support. So I would say that it's just following through with that rebound off the 450 area. It might run into some resistance as soon as it gets up to like 675. Where that high was recently from Monday. But I'd say this is just like you were talking about. It's just kind of rebounding from that movement off of 675 on Monday and falling down to 450 and a little bit lower before recovering. So I would say that mostly it's that. But if there was news with this, I think there was, that would also help give it a lift as well and put eyes on it. I'd have to go back and see what that news was because I'm pretty sure it had some, but I don't remember what it was. And looking around here, it looks like BBAI is just trying to hang in there, trying to recapture that 715 or just hang out at 715 after we popped and dropped this morning. LAES kind of going sideways, trying to hold the 65 EMA. LIPO, this is now down to the 65 EMA. This is where I was expecting there to be at some kind of bounce. So far, hasn't happened yet. And if it continues to go lower, then there may be support down closer to 390. No trade for me in LIPO yet. Hasn't been really behaving too well out of the open. RNAS, on the other hand, looks like this one wants to try and get above 1330. This had an impulse move about 20 minutes ago, 15, 20 minutes ago, and has not been able to continue upwards beyond 1330 since that time. We've been getting some VWAP tests and some support from VWAP, but we need to see that volume come in and help push us through 1330 so we can go to that pre-market high of 1448. Hey, Duar, how are you doing?
I'm back. I'm catching up with the chat here. You guys veered into the gutter briefly there.
NTM is open, and just like I anticipated, it is moved up over 13, but gapped up is more appropriately.
Actually held above 14 there too.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens here. This is, we could see a second halt because it's probably going to give a pretty big move in one direction or the other. So it could halt down, it could halt up. But I don't like the way this candle is looking right now. So let's hope that this changes in the next minute and a half.
QNTM, we'll see. Amazon's still looking good. Uber still printing for you, Izzy? Did we reach the top of that impulse move? We did. So it looks like a 2-point move here on Uber. Izzy, I think the one thing that I'd be curious to know, how do you determine the sell spots on these stocks that rip like this? Do you just sell into strength? Are you watching price action? What is your exit strategy when a stock moves like this?
LIPO, still at that 65 EMA. There's a large seller at 519, 520. But if it gets taken out, we might be able to reverse. So let's wait and see what happens with that.
Aha, there he is. Staff Sergeant Ryan checking in today. Must have been on a mission earlier when I talked about Boeing here and shouted you out for that. Just as a reminder here, first profit target going to be this 193 area, unless we just power through it in the moment. Then I'd probably hold out for 200 here. But the first profit target here going to be this 500. We'll peel some and then we'll peel the rest as it moves into strength above that. I don't have a huge position here. It's kind of a smaller call position, but it is working. This was a good call on your part. 193, 200, the first sell target area for that trade.
Did you happen to mention the trend line in Disney? I think I had you draw it because the price is practicing that now.
So you know what, 13? No, because my drawings got deleted. So help me out with the trend line again. Let's put it there, and I'm going to resave this.
Okay. So start with Monday, December 2nd of last year. And draw it through the high on December 18th and January 7th. And just keep going. And you'll see that we are coming down to that trend line now.
There it is. Thank you. And now we're going to go up here, save, overwrite. And now even if I lose those, they're saved to the workspace. Here is your trend line. On Disney, oops, let me go back to the main workspace here. APPS, boy, this was such a good call, Daniel. You know what? I'm giving you another one. That was so good earlier. You definitely mentioned this one here. Did not take this.
All right. So it looks like LIPO is still hanging out around the 65 EMA. REBN. So after that pop-up that we just had here, we're cooling off a little bit, coming down to the VWAP. We're going to want to see some support down here for the next move up. So as long as we can hang out above VWAP, maybe in the next 5-minute candle or so, we make another attempt to push up and through the 587 pre-market high.
QNTM halted to the upside again.
Okay, so this will be number 2.
Yep.
And this is where I would really start to be careful with this one because after the second halt, we can start to see selling, and we usually see a lot more selling after the third halt if we get one. So let's not get greedy. Let's make sure we take profits on into the strength here, and raise our stop so we don't get slaughtered on the way back down. Because what is the float on this one? It's 1.6 million, I think.
I got 1.8, but okay. Yeah, it's low.
It's super low. Way, so yeah. just be very careful with this. If you bought it before that first halt, you're doing great. Don't turn a great day into a bad day.
You guys were mentioning Arnaz here, thinking about it, thinking about it with a joke here. Breaking news, nurse gives a lollipop to a patient after injection.
Oh, wow. Bye.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're totally joking. You have to be. In any case, though, Arnaz, like all jokes aside, Arnaz strong again here after yesterday's move. In fact, it's trying to break out from this high. I've got this high print. 1381-ish. This looks like this is going to challenge 14. This was actually above 14 in the pre-market earlier.
I was just talking about how 1330 was the level we needed to get over because that was where we were getting rejected all morning so far.
Here we go, 14.
Now we're going to 1448, which is the pre-market high. That's where the next target is here.
That went right through 14 as if it was not even there. Went to 1425 and then pulled like crazy.
Yep.
Not in our NAS here today. Ooh, big spike there, NBIS.
Oh, yeah?
NBIS. I know a lot of you guys are following NBIS now because of Story Trading and The Godfather. This is one of his better picks. That's right, Lion.
Oh, JJ, you want crazy levels for apps? Let's do this. Let's get some crazy levels going. These are always fun. All right. What do I have for crazy levels?
For which one? APPS, right? Let me bring that up. Take a look at the chart here.
Ooh, well, this is interesting. We actually, on this move out of the gate here, we have ran up to the 65-week EMA. So that was actually where we top tick so far. Yeah, so if you do that and turn on your 65 EMA, you'll see that we are right. The price went right there. So that's number one. Let me see if I can find.
So are you saying that the price is right, Bob? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
And then let's see some other levels here. Also the 15-month EMA also we just touched this morning. So there's two. Those might be the levels that we hit today because the other ones are pretty high up there. But let me just tell you what they are.
1474.
For what?
That's a crazy level for APPS here.
Oh, okay. So for APPS, the next crazy level I have is on the weekly chart. It's going to be the 200-week EMA, and that is 1330. The next one after that, well, we could even look at the 200-month before that because that's going to be about 1240. So 1240, 1330, and then 1475. Those are the next really crazy,
cool,
levels that I have for apps if we somehow go on a run into the double digits.
Cool. Amazon reversing. No, we want this trade. I want this trade to work just on general principle. Waiting for the price to come on down. Gary, that is well done, dude. Well done, dude. I could have done better on my dad joke there. You just did it again. PLTR on the move. Which direction? We going higher on PLTR? Oh my God. Where's the top, guys? Where's the top on Palantir?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Is he? Ryan, I told you to stay away. You just said you weren't trading it. You didn't tell me to stay away. Well, it looks like we're going to break 237 here on Amazon. Here, I'm going to bring it up here. Let's see if we bounce from this area or if we plunge.
Watch for increased volume in LIPO. If we happen to get some, increase in volume, we could finally move up and away from the 65 EMA. There is a large seller there just above 522. So that's what I'm saying. We need to see the volume come in and take these sellers out before we can get back up to VWAP at least.
Okay, I am setting the stop here, 236.75 stop set on Amazon. So if it keeps dropping here, that is right beneath this. 236.75 is beneath the pre-market low. So if we end up taking that out, we'll stop out here. It looks like it's going right for it. We'll see though. We'll see on Amazon here.
QNTM is unhalted and it's kind of whipping around back and forth. It went as high as 1641, but trying to decide on what it's going to do next.
It did pop above 16 there and then gave it back. HKD appearing on this. Oh my goodness.
Oh geez, not again.
Just mentioning this one. HKD, new highs, took out the pre-market high, new intraday highs now, and it's pushing on volume. HKD.
REBN looks like it has a good setup, but the series of upper shadows it keeps printing here over the past 15-20 minutes is a little bit of a warning signal here. Could see some weakness here, and the volume is kind of drying up, so we might not get a resolution of this formation. Just be careful with REBN. It's looking like it's really slowing down. And now we're getting that pull in QNTM, so we might halt to the downside here if this really starts to drop out.
QNTM, I'm just going to stay away from that straight up.
Another one of those Widowmaker stocks, huh?
Well, it's just, I mean, I look at the price action here, all of the halting, and I think to myself, if you were playing this, would you be doing well or no? I feel like I'd be messing that up. RANI, this did come back in. It looks like it's trying to hold this 161 here. Remember, this had news regarding the oral delivery of its GLP-1 like product, RANI.
Trying to find something that looks interesting here. Still waiting to see what happens with REBN, whether we take out these these wicks, or if we continue to print some wicks and look a little bit more and more bearish each time.
LIPO is trying to bounce from that 65 EMA on the 5. Most of the Mag 7s are slipping. You know what else, Big Bees? The market is slipping. So the SPY, we talked about that being a little bit stronger earlier, excuse me. It looks like we've kind of double topped here at 606 on the SPY, kind of rolling over here. And it's not just the SPY. Qs look similar, rolled over from the highs anyway. Dow, the diamonds, DIA, Dow actually lower than the pre-market low.
QNTM still hanging in there, trying to go green on this candle. BBAI, not sure if we're turning around here or not, but it looks like it's getting support from the 200 EMA on the 5-minute.
That's BBAI, you were saying?
REBN, here we are trying to test these intraday highs at 583. Trying to push through. There is that seller at 584. It's got to get taken out before we go higher.
Cannabis names are starting to turn and try to go higher. ACB, this has probably the best one of yesterday. ACB and CGC, the two best ones, both of those are turning back up. Amazon is trying to bounce. I can't believe it didn't stop me out. It like bounced just above my stop. Now that I've said that, I've probably just, the die has probably been cast now and I've sealed my fate.
You mentioned LIPO. It is really starting to come off that 65 EMA and try and reverse. Let's see if it can get back above 550. Oh, and then it just pulled. All right. Well, so much for that. Looks like LAES still trying to turn around as well. Maybe there's a recovery happening in BBAI. It really needs to get back above some of these previous levels it was falling through before. It looks good. And then REBN still has not been able to break out of that or break over the 583 high that we put in about 15-20 minutes ago. Looks like RNAS is starting to break down a little bit here. Toronto in 1 day says weed. Is that the ETF?
No, I think he was mentioning that that was when I was talking about ACB and CGC. Those stocks were moving there.
Because there is a ETF called weed.
Well, maybe he was referring to that then.
Okay. And yeah, I'm looking at it and it's testing its 50-day SMA. Looks like it's on it's curling up and getting ready to make some bigger moves, but we'll see.
ASTS, the story trading guys said that they were destroying this yesterday. That had another huge move. They're probably still in that from yesterday too. That was really, those guys really did crush this one. And I know you've been all over space too, 13. ASTS is another really awesome move. This is a good call, Lion. This is a good move after yesterday's move.
So one of the things you see here with this one is how it's got a big rebound off the 200-day SMA. So let's look and see what other one of these space stocks that has been trading really well is doing with their 200 EMAs. First thing I would want to look at is
stopped out of Amazon right there on that pull. Okay, so that one didn't work. Izzy, you were right. 0 for 1 on Amazon. CGC reports tomorrow before the open. Thank you, producer.
Just going through some of these space stocks while you do your
yep,
thing.
All good. You let me know when you need to jump in there. Peloton, after that initial push, everything turned to selling volume here. This now down to the 65 EMA on the 5. Peloton. Amazon, of course, flushed me and then is bound. We'll see where that ends up resolving.
Still looking.
HKD, more new highs. I'm going to stay away from that too. I've learned my lesson with that one. LIPO, this really needs to show some more strength. It is just not. Has just not really been strong at all here. Rocket Lab puts, but I guess that's not terribly notable. Yeah, those were.
Well, I mean, that I think that's not necessarily a bad call at all, because this thing has, been doing really
FTAI.
well. Oh, okay.
FTAI. 120 here. I'm actually seeing more calls get bought here on FTAI. Lion, I got to say, just the more I look back on this, the more I'm just like, wow, you really did play that right. And I'll tell you what, the short report plays, those near-term calls, that might not be the best way to do that. It might be worth paying up for some better ones.
RABN finally got that volume.
There it goes, and it went right through that 580. What was the level that you had there?
I think it was 583. This
583?
blasted right through. That's all it needed to take out that seller. So let's see where this goes. Well, we have that 675 high from Monday. So maybe that could be the next target. Okay. So apps continuing to put in highs, new highs. 432 now, the new intercession high.
So Under Armour reported, popped, round tripped, and is now trying to bounce. No good.
These pops do not last long. I'm finding.
Dude, Palantir. 106 now on Palantir. And you know what else? Here's the other thing on this. If you had told me that, hey, oh, now I'm upset. Yesterday I should have been doing this for the damn. You know what I need to do? I need to come up with some type of alerting feature that alerts me to the islands. And I need to add a few lines of code that have like a Looney Tunes style hand that comes out of my monitor and slaps me in the face to make sure that I don't miss these opportunities. Look at this floating island on Palantir. Textbook, dude. To held 100 and bounced 6 points in one day. And if you had told me, if you were looking at this longer term chart or even a weekly or a monthly, and you had said to me, Ryan, I think Palantir might be a short-term short as this regresses back to the mean, I'd look at you and I'd be like, yeah, that seems about right. And Palantir is just like, F you. We don't go down. Palantir trades up every day. So this is why it's hard to short. Guys, I totally get the short thesis here on Palantir after this huge move. It has no interest in doing that. Zero.
Man,
Ryan, I will share my code when it's a bit more polished. Robert, I will take that. You're talking about the code for the floating island or the code for the hand slapping me in the face, or both?
This is a think or swim code, right?
I believe a think script, I believe. John Hunt says, I can move to your location and I will slap you in the face every day for $70,000 a year. John, I'm going to respectfully pass on that offer.
He seemed too eager for that.
Not going to lie, all these days you guys were talking about Palantir, I was thinking for some reason you were talking about Peloton. That is a mix-up. that is a mix-up. John is saying Palantir implemented Grok 2. Hey, who has really good results with Grok? Do you guys use that a lot? I think I need to start using that more. I will say I love the little icon in X where it's like basically it's like, tell me what this means. It will summarize some of these longer posts for you. I do find that helpful. John, you're funny.
LAES still hanging in there. MACD is starting to curl a little bit. I don't know how long it's going to take, but this might start to turn back up. Some of these that are kind of basing or have been going sideways for a little bit of a time now, they might be starting to recover. So keep an eye on some of those. LAES is one of them. What is all these other ones doing? QBTS trying to recapture the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. REBN came back in pretty hard after hitting 641, now trading under 6. And LIPO has not been really giving us a whole lot to do with this morning. So it looks like this could go as low as the 200 EMA on the 5-minute, which I have down near 395. QNTM looks like this is trying to get going again. Looking for a break over 15. A little spready though. Be careful. Thinking about it. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say this was actually a nice little back test of the VWAP before it moving there. You were saying LFDM?
Yeah, thinking about it was saying it was a great recovery. I haven't looked at that yet. Oh yeah, look at that. It looks like it could still maybe move up some more, but volume just doesn't look like it's really there in that one. All right. Well, what's everybody trading right now?
Is anyone trading SMCI? Seeing a ton of puts bought into this staircase move up. Repeat. 28, 33, 28, 33 strikes there. These are the ones that expire in March, by the way. And also worth noting, we were talking about the market kind of rolling over earlier. Well, guess what? BTD, the buy the dippers came back. Now, I will say we're looking at this right here.
LAES making the move back up to VWAP. Sorry to interrupt you.
Nope, you're good. Totally good. LAES might be giving a trade here, actually. And I'm too late on that. I'm too late on that.
It's at VWAP now. It just has to hold, and we can see what it does next.
EA, by the way, I'm waiting to actually close out the second leg of this trade. Did anyone take this EA with me?
Oh, Ryan, tell me if you see this on the 1 minute. Does LAES look like it has an inverse head and shoulders?
On the 1 minute, let me go to that real quick. LAES 1 minute inverse head. Dude, okay. I mean, I would think so.
I just can't really see it that well in the 5, but it looks much more. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, let me ask you, because I don't often look at these head and shoulders and intraday head and shoulders on these intraday timeframes. What does this, if this resolves, what does this measure to? Is this like a 460, 450? Like, how do you determine the upside level where this might go if this resolves?
So for me, what you do is you take and there's a couple of ways you could do it, but I think the easiest explanation is just to measure where the neckline is and then look and see the distance between that neckline and the top of the head. And then you take that measurement and you apply it to the other side of the neckline, and that should give you your upside target to go.
Okay, so I'm estimating the neckline here 428, top of the head 412, so that's a what? 16-cent difference. Cool. Yeah. So now we're going to take the neckline here. We're going to call it 428. 16 cent puts us at what? 444?
Yeah.
444. And look, that is actually a previous bounce spot. That's not bad. That is not bad. Really good lesson there, 13. I like that.
So the next impulse move, if this flag that we're getting here on the 1 minute right now, if this next impulse move pushes up to that area, that would probably be the best area to sell out of.
Okay, that's really good. That's really good.
And it could continue to do whatever it wants after that, but that would be the whole technical move for that pattern.
Okay, Lion saying you're long SMCI here. I think the bad news is priced in. Well, I got to get the ticker right here. SMCI. You were saying I think the bad news is priced in. Well, I mean, but aren't they still missing their reports, or did they eventually?
I think what he's doing is he's trying to play the NASDAQ compliance date where they're supposed to, not only do the report, but it's like February 25th, I thought, or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I hear, and it's probably in this business update here.
Business update on the 11th, but they should be. They have until the 25th to do that NASDAQ compliance.
Yeah, that's in a different PR here. But you know what? This might be something, right? Tuesday, February 11th. That you might get something there from that business update, right? That could definitely cause that to move.
Yeah. Let's see here. because that's supposed to be their earnings, the next earnings date.
Rashima Lotus mentioning Wolf. Sorry, he was just going over the chat here. Wolf getting called.
Yeah, see, I'm looking at Supermicro's earnings calendar, and it says that they have one confirmed for the 11th, which was what you were reading there, and then they also say they have one for the 18th. So I'm not sure what that's about, but they have. I'm pretty sure it was the 25th that they have to have compliance by. Let me double check that.
Bitcoin here, by the way, has moved down in this regular session. Tesla did a fairly decent job holding that 363 area and bouncing from there.
Yes, SMCI is required by NASDAQ to by February 25th to file all required reports. So there you go. Lots of 3 key dates. The 11th of this month, I guess the 18th. I'm not sure, a week later what that's about. But then you have the 25th, which is the, deadline for NASDAQ compliance.
Don't see anything great on the scanner right now. ELF might be trying to bottom. LIPO is just more downside. Good Lord.
Reborn Coffee still not finished yet, but has significantly slowed down since that pop to 641. QNTM just had a really big move through their VWAP to the downside. That filled an intra-session gap. Maybe it turns around here after that, but going to need some more volume in order to recapture VWAP. RNAS, also in the process of recapturing VWAP, are trying to right now. What else here? Disney may be finding some support down in the 109 area within that handle. Might also be turning around here, but again with the volume. ACB, that's been on a rip this morning. Jay Wild says, RR trying to go. C-Spot says, ACB blasting off. Yes, sir. Let me take a look at the SPY here. Okay. And, SPY, it's still kind of sideways because we never really got beyond the pre-market high. Yeah, just before the market opened, we hit a high of 606.22. Have not been back up there in the regular session yet. All right, I'm going to look at RR. Getting multiple mentions of that now.
Yeah, Rich, sorry, I was.
Man. Yeah, it's moving.
I was handling some stuff here for work, so I apologize for.
No worries.
Being off to the side there. Was this moving on news, RR?
Let's see here.
Yep, sure was. Grand opening of XIII.
What is XIII?
I don't know, dude. I'm sorry.
Is that an AI generated name?
With serving as a barista, XIII and Tea at Town Square will be offering a wide variety of milk teas, coffees, and desserts, utilizing NVIDIA AI technology. So Adam will detect when customers are present, engage them in conversation, and take orders verbally.
So that happens on February 9th when the grand opening takes place. Don't know if this is going to really be a sell the news event, but I could see how it could be. And this is maybe just the time everybody's loading up to sell into that newsprint when they do the grand opening. Kind of thinking out loud, not sure if that's really what's going to happen because, I've never heard of XIII and tea before.
Yeah, me either.
So,
Britt, good morning. HSAI Hesse Group. No fresh news here, but ripping on volume. What is is this one of those? Yeah, it's the ADS. This is one of those China names, right? LiDAR. Yep. Hesai Group engaged in development, manufacture, and sales of three-dimensional light detection and ranging solutions, or LiDAR. The company operates in North America, mainland China, Europe, and other regions. This is a huge move here. I didn't have this one flagged, though, and I didn't see any news for this.
And this is not a low float stock either. But I think
No, it isn't.
I think we're seeing movement on a theme, a robotics theme.
I think you're right.
So that could be what we're seeing here, because we've been talking about this for a while about how robotics after AI might be one of the next big movers. Well, right now we have software being the big mover, but we're not too far away from advanced robotics being a really big thing as early as this year, especially with Tesla and coming out with Optimus. And I'm pretty sure I read that there was some kind of DOD. This is just trying to draw from memory, but I thought I saw something about a DOD announcement to build an army of military robots. Let me double check and see if I can find that, because I'm pretty sure I saw something about building an army of them.
Cloudfleet sounds extremely gimmicky. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Levels for lottery.
That's LTRY. Is that this has just continued to rip here?
Well, we just blew through the 200-day EMA. We're coming up. Let's see. Consolidation really starts to pick up at about 558. So I would think that about you start to see some pressure, selling pressure around 558. But the really big resistance level I see is at about 175. And that's really going to be in the thick of consolidation as well. So another 60 cents takes us up to that level. Don't know if we'll get there or not, but I think you'll start seeing the resistance pick up at around 558. So there you go.
So we talked last time. I told you about the market. We were commenting on how it was bouncing from the pullback. Choppy here today, because now we've reversed again and gone lower. Tick chart also showing a low tick there. So the sellers starting to ramp up a little bit here. SPY, NASDAQ, Dow, all kind of rolling over. Dow seems to be leading the way down. Everything is red except the NASDAQ. Actually, I think the IWM, let me take a look at that. IWM still green too. That's holding on to green.
All right.
Danny, look, I'm just going to be honest. If I don't know, I'm not afraid to say that. I'm not afraid to say that. I have no idea what that word or company does. Halted 122 on lottery. Cash your tickets in.
All right. I can't seem to find that article I read. I'll look for it later. Maybe I can bring it to the group tomorrow. But that's where we're gonna. That's where we're headed. We're headed for a deployment of robots en masse pretty soon. I'm sure of it. That we're going to see it. BBAI starting to pick up again. Looking like it's trying to go for VWAP. Can we get levels for halt prices open? You're talking about lottery? Because I gave levels just a moment ago. I don't know if it's going to go to where I said, but those are the big levels I saw on the daily chart. Just 158, I think that's where you're going to start to see resistance pick up, and then I think I said 175 is about where you really get into the thick of resistance. So those would be the levels that I'm throwing out there for lottery.
Peloton's trying to bounce here. Right. Teladoc spiking on volume. What's going on with Teladoc?
Redbone halted to the downside. And when I mean halted to the downside, I mean this thing is halted to the downside.
What a pull that was.
Looked like it's the coffee crash. Caffeine all got soaked up. All right, BBAI, you're going to break through that VWAP? Yesterday news, Rumble completes oversubscribed 525 million tender offer for 70 million class shares. So there's a capital raise.
Seeing some call sweeps here on Lunar. That's the March call again, the 25 call.
Thinking about if you're out there, because I don't know off the top of my head if they got one coming up. I think they do, but I think you would know better. Do they have a launch coming up by that time frame that Ryan was mentioning with the options?
March 21st was that time. Jay's asking, how about IVVD coming down? So we talked about that one earlier. We said be careful with this one because this came, just be mindful of where this thing came from. If you want the visual representation of that, here you go. This was a 40-cent stock before Farmer Bro tweeted about it. Now, he did ramp it yesterday, but, well, I think maybe he tweeted about it on Monday. I can't remember exactly what day he tweeted about it. Nonetheless, this ramped yesterday. Know where this came from. Unsurprised to see us pulling back a little bit. Hims is a beast. That was another one that we talked about in happy hour yesterday. I believe Big Bees said like this one long term on Hims. The daily chart is just vertical. Like I can't chase this, but you're right. This is an absolute beast.
Yeah, and I was asked if I had any odds for Google that it hits 195. I don't have any odds for that. I mentioned the 50-day SMA on Google earlier. We were getting support from that yesterday. We are seeing support from the 50-day SMA as well today, but it's the trend line that I'm concerned about that we need to get past, and we have not done that yet. So until that happens, and we would need to see, a move over 192.75, the high from yesterday, before I even think that we're going to get to 195. So watch for that to happen, because I don't know that we're necessarily going to reverse and go up that high today. I don't know if the odds are good or not, but I would say they're probably not. But we have a whole day ahead of us. Anything can happen.
Also, thinking about it, that lunar launch Feb 26th. So those options do encompass that launch and give you time on the back end.
Perfect. Thank you very much thinking about it. So I'll write that down and double check that, because that's correct. That's going to be a good move.
That TDOC move was from a Citron tweet or something.
A Citron tweet?
Citron Research tweeted TDOC under the radar AI play Teladoc just acquired Catapult Health, doubling down on preventative care and virtual health. The market still treats it like a pandemic relic, but it's quietly turning into a cash generating machine. Well, AI hype stocks trade at wild multiples. So there you go. Good mention there, Izzy. Citron tweeting long TDOC.
I see the appeal. People don't want to go to the doctor's office and wait in a waiting room, or even have to go there for at all. So that's why we call them patients, because of all the waiting we have to do. But people would rather just do it from the comfort of their home. So I think they're right with that. I'm actually surprised we haven't seen bigger moves in that, but maybe it's just on the but we can't see with financials and whatnot.
I just retweeted the Citron tweet there.
BBAI is going to 102 years. Well, maybe.
Teladoc screaming higher. This would have been did Charlie mention this? I bet he did. Yep.
So
yeah. Oh, dude. So this, I love this. So we're going to have a little Benzinga Pro lesson here real quick. There are a couple of things, and 13, if you need to get in here, interrupt, but this is important. For those of you that are listening to the squawk on Benzinga Pro, Charlie he follows these things all of the time. He had mentioned here, Teladoc, Citron Research is out with a positive note on Teladoc. Shares are spiking. He had a couple more there squawks about that. I'll say this: when it comes to a lot of these short reports or some of these new positions or people like Citron or organizations like Citron that are taking a long or a short approach, you often will get a move like this. This is an amazing scalp setup. Now it has to be done fast. You have to be fast with this. I would have to have this playing in my ear in order to take advantage of this. This is a good shout out here by the group. But if you have access to Benzinga Pro Squawk, When you hear stuff like this, sometimes you can just buy it, sell it higher, and just scalp it over and over and over again. Izzy, this is a great mention. Charlie was all over this. Shout out to anyone that hit this.
And Lon, you might be joking, but I still think that that's entirely possible. I mean, it might not seem that way right now, and maybe it never does. But if this is a true competitor to Peloton, which we're finding out it is, it wouldn't be surprising to me if this started to go crazy like Palantir did. But we need to see some of those earnings headlines that Palantir has enjoyed for the past several years of their their growth and revenue and earnings. So it's still a little bit of a long road for BBAI to get to Palantir's level, but if they are a competitor, it's a road that could be well traveled by us.
Tony is saying, try to get an appointment with your practitioner. It's impossible to get one quickly. I will say the medical industry, I'm extremely bearish on it. It's horrific. It's horrific. There's a lot of different angles that play into it. I do see the appeal of doing at-home consultations here. That's the way I would want to do it too. Bearish on the entire health industry, though.
BBAI still trying to make some moves here. It's working its way through the pre-market consolidation. Has to get above the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. Still holding above VWAP for the moment, even though it's flirting with the underside of it as well. Need to see just another big increase in volume, and this could take us out of this consolidation.
Izzy, Britt is asking you, what scanner did you use? Britt, it is worth noting that the Benzinga Pro scanner caught that too, or at least for the relative volume, because when you get a volume spike like this, that's going to light it up. T-Doc was on here when I had seen that Izzy had mentioned that. But Izzy, if you could answer Britt here and let her know what scanner you were using, that'd be cool.
2 years to get an appointment? Jeez. What is going on with the medical industry?
I'll hold my comments to myself. I'm not trying to anger anybody else here. And
Rich Tech, that's pushing up again.
Into it.
Sorry to interrupt.
You're good.
Yeah,
and whoever was on APPS here today, this was Daniel, right? Daniel? Yeah, I think you had a really early mention on this. On APPS.
Apps looking good. Rich Check looking good. Looks like Rich Check's going to take out this intra-session high of 284. BBAI starting to bubble some more here, trying to go higher, and here we go, starting to move. There we are. Getting some better movement in BBAI, the kind of move we want to see. RNAS looking the lollipop. It's a good one.
Is that like a trading thing? Or is it?
Well, I think he's saying it's looking to pop, but because it's such a sweet move that it's a lollipop. That's what I'm getting.
Okay, because there was someone was referencing adult flicks earlier, and so I'm just wondering if we're in the same vein there.
Oh no.
Like I said, I'm just making sure here. Randy, by the way, this sold off out of the open. Remember, this had a PR here about the oral semaglutide pill. This actually making higher lows intraday here. IVVD, this bounced a little bit here. Uber, Izzy, I know that you were mentioning Uber was the trade of the day. Indeed, this was a huge rip out of the gate here on Uber. Really awesome job catching that one.
Wiss is mentioning EQ, telling it to let's go. Must be making some good moves.
Equilibrium, penny stock, just broke out of its sideways formation here. The PR on this one, shares are trading higher as the company announced top line results from a phase 2 study evaluating one of its drugs in the treatment to moderate to severe ulcerative colitis. I'm waiting on an appointment from 2020. I mean, something's got to be wrong there. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's not healthcare. ACB new highs. All right, guys, looks like it's a weed day. All right. So smoke them if you got them, because these wheat stocks ripping to the highs here. CGC, same deal. Not quite. We'll see if CGC follows here. ACB, though, printing new highs.
Keep an eye on SLXN. This is a stock we traded earlier this week. The MACD looks like it's curling up, and we just we've been kind of basing here for the past half hour, 45 minutes. So just keep an eye on it. I'm not saying jump in it, but just keep an eye on it because it looks like it's trying to turn around.
DS, OLR appointment waiting time is about 1.5 years. Welcome in Canada. Okay, so when you had said your other comment here about waiting since 2020, my initial thought in my head was, gosh, do you live in Canada or something? And then I said to myself, that's not, you shouldn't joke about that. That's rude. And I opted not to say it. And then your next comment here is welcome to Canada. Man, I'm sorry about that. Like that is, I'll tell you what, I'm not trying to put anyone on blast here, but I hear a lot here in the States. I hear a lot from people that are like, Canada's got such better healthcare. Canada healthcare is awesome. I wish I was in Canada for the healthcare. And I'll tell you what, the people that I actually talk to that are legit in Canada, they don't have the same opinion. I don't know what the truth is. I'm not up there. I don't get healthcare. I don't know what it is, but I'm sorry to hear this. And damn. Lion, I'm my own doctor. I mean, I guess I should have expected that. Did Palantir really hit 108? Oh, for heaven's sakes, it sure did.
I just got stopped out at BBAI. That was not a great looking pull, but still didn't lose anything on it. At
least you had a stop?
Yeah. I had a couple stops. I had a trailing to see how high it would go, and I had a stop just to make sure I didn't lose anything, and now I'm out of it, and maybe it turns around and just goes crazy now.
So David is saying, just to kind of square that up, the healthcare here is free, but it's mediocre. I have a Canadian friend, 15 plus years, it's been a mess. Pros and cons. My appointments are at least 3 months later. Aura Alpha, I love this comment. Solve health problems now. No wheat, dairy, or sugar. Now, I've cut down on all three of those, but sugar is the big one.
Let's just ban high fructose corn syrup for once and for all. It's the worst stuff out there.
That's going to be, I mean, I know there are a lot of farmers that are subsidized for growing corn, which is one of the reasons it's used, but I'm with you. I'm in agreement there. Real quick here, just to answer this question. I know we're talking about some other things here on the side, and I'm not trying to get away from the market. I promise you. First of all, Hellcat saying, LOL, it's not free. You pay higher taxes for it. Ryan Odegaard saying the whole market pulled. Do we know why? So the market today, so I don't really think that there's any one catalyst here. We did have the jobless claims earlier, but the market almost didn't react to that. It actually ended up going higher at the open and so far has pulled back here. If you take a look at this action, to me, this just looks like some choppy trading action here. I don't know that what?
RNS, sorry. It's
okay. I don't know that there's a single catalyst that's really kind of driving us lower here yet. I haven't pinpointed that. You can let our friend Ryan there know if you guys have anything. You were talking about RNAS there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this is trying to make a move over VWAP right now, but the volume isn't great. But I decided to mention it since it's making a technical move.
So Aura Alpha here, nice Ryan. Once you get it out of your system, you start to hate sugar. I loved Coca-Cola. Growing up, it was one of my favorite things in the world. When I made my first arc towards being healthier as I became older, I switched to only drinking the Coke with cane sugar in it. Now I can't have any of it. It's too sweet, and like it literally doesn't taste like I remember. It doesn't taste good. So Aura Alpha, you're right about that stuff. Jay saying, from Canada, I've lived in the US and Germany now. Canadian healthcare is a travesty compared to Europe and US. Okay.
So where did this narrative come from then? I guess I'd be curious, like where this narrative that Canadian healthcare is just phenomenal compared to, the other regions you just mentioned. US
I'm biting my tongue. I'm not propagating it. I'm sorry. I have an answer for that, but I don't know that it's going to help anything, and I don't know. I might piss people off, and so I'm not going to give it. T-Doc here, still ripping, by the way, post that Citron tweet.
Looks like LIPO is still trying to recover. Hasn't been a great one today. Apps just made another intersession high, 469.
Holy smokes, RCAT. You know, I might have to start looking at this just for the purpose of trades. I know we've got some long-term views here on RCAT, the whole drone theme, yada, yada, yada. But look at this action here. This ripped out of the gate, went negative, and now went even greener. Drone operation industry substantially expanding usages, transforming into $1 billion revenue opportunity. Bro, give us news that we didn't know already. We already know this. This has been the thesis for all of our drone plays here.
Lottery is looking like it's getting some support here around VWAP. So this, I mean, I don't like the way the MACD looks, but just keep an eye on lottery. This could be curling back up.
And this FN Media Group, how are you listing all these drone stocks and not listing ONDS in here? What the hell, man? That reminds me of The Departed. Who put the effing cameras in here? It's like, what's going on? Come on.
The FN Media Group. They have to know exactly what they were doing.
They know exactly what they were doing, for sure. Jonathan Cooper is mentioning that the whole robotics sector is working. We commented on that a little bit when we talked about RR earlier. It's also worth mentioning Serve. What other robotic stocks did we have? This group came up with a bunch. I'm struggling to remember now all of the ones that we had.
You could add Tesla to that.
Tesla.
Yeah. And maybe that's like a whole list that we need to put together, not just the quantum names separately and the space names separately, but just let's have a list of all the speculative names that are working lately. RNAS moving again, so that we can look at that every morning and see what's doing well. And lately, a lot of these nuclear and drone and quantum, all the names that we're running in space, all the names that were running at the end of last year, they're still getting a lot of attention. So to your point, I think it's a good idea we do look at those every morning.
Okay. And I'll do a better job here. Danny, I appreciate you bringing this up, by the way, because I think some of these we can trade even if we do have long-term views. Serve really selling off now. Really quickly, we only got 15 minutes left here on the show. Our producer, who's always looking out for us, especially us gentlemen out there, just a really quick thing here. With Valentine's Day fast approaching, don't forget your significant other. We talk a lot here about, different ways that you can kind of help other people. Here's a suggestion for you, gentlemen. Our producer's got a sense of humor, and I am here for it. Good stuff, producer.
There's a joke in there about chicks. I know there is.
There certainly is. There's several jokes in there. Hope that was enjoyable for you folks.
All right. Looks like lottery's trying to
ARBE, Airblade. I'll go to lottery here in a sec. Airblade just kind of rolled over. Here is your LRTY.
It's trying. It's trying, Ryan.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Kevin.
What short percentage am I getting on KIT? Let's take a look here. A pretty sizable one. Looks like 32.2% of the float shorted. Almost 30 days to cover. Not a bad idea.
What did you say on the days to cover?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's the wrong.
That's the average volume. I was like,
one day to cover because the float's so low. 6 million. Sorry, wrong.
You're good. You're good. I'm looking to sell some. I told you guys earlier I'm looking to sell some more of the EA calls there. I'm going to sit on the offer here at 3 on those calls.
So
paid 150 for them. That's 100%.
KITT, that has there's some news from Monday that kind of gives a something to look forward to toward the maybe in March, because they are going to likely make an announcement that they've completed their acceptance testing for their Aquanaut Mark II by the end of this quarter that we're in. So keep an eye on Kit for that headline. They also filed a 100 million mixed securities shelf, so they'll probably want to execute that on a large move in the stock price. So keep that in the back of your head as well.
Apple here really kind of reversing from its early performance here. Apple ripped out of the gate, gave everything back here. We're actually we did already go red here. We actually might lose these pre-market lows here on Apple. The whole market is kind of pulling here with it though, too, by the way. So we talked about SPY kind of rolling over here. It looks like new lows here on the SPY, new lows here on the NASDAQ, and the Dow also participating in the move down here.
Yeah, I've not traded much today. The biggest one I've had was BBAI making its way through the VWAP. But like I said earlier, I got stopped out with some gains. So and now it's just really coming in.
You guys are mentioning Trump tariff news.
Uh-oh. Is that what's pulling the market down?
I'll look. President Trump says we will drive the price of oil down. Everything will follow.
Okay.
I don't see it. Is he? What is it? I don't see it here. U.S. Here we go. U.S. issues fresh Iran-related sanctions. No, that's not it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm having a hard time with. If they're gonna hit Iran's oil, and I don't mean hit it in like militarily, but affect it in some way, it doesn't seem great for oil. It seems like it could cause prices to rise.
Oil here up 10 cents, 0.14%.
Oh.
I mean, that's nothing. I mean, I don't see that news. I don't see nominee Greer talking China tariffs. Okay, well, I'm not sure that the market is responding to that. I mean, we kind of slowly rolled over here. We didn't have any like big move. Tick chart actually firming up here too.
Our alpha, if you're referring to pretty much the price action that started back on Tuesday and it's carried over into Wednesday and Thursday, is that where you're looking at the inverse head and shoulders on the 15? Because that's about what I see. That would put the neckline a little bit above 99,000. Tell me if that's what you're looking at. Because if that's, I see what you're talking about. If that's what you're asking about, and if that's the case, then we would want to see the price. It would have to reverse pretty soon. But to be honest, this looks more like it could be a double bottom. But I don't want to really say that either, because we've had lower prints. Earlier this month, going down to that 91 350 area. It looks like it's trying to reverse. I will say that, but the patterns still a little bit of a question mark for me of which one exactly we're looking at, because that left shoulder and the head are about the same price as far as the lows.
Yeah, you guys are mentioning that maybe nothing. The nominee is talking China tariffs and how China is unfair to the U.S. Nothing new there. And I'm not. Yeah, I don't know that the market is necessarily responding to that.
If it is, it's a pretty muted response. I'd expect some more movement than this.
Okay, don't see anything crazy on X.
Well, Reborn is dead.
Okay, that is less than ideal. But yeah, here's your chart.
That's not a rebirth there, that's for sure. RNAS still trying to go higher over this VWAP, but I do not like the way these candles are looking. Looks like it could come back in, but as long as it holds VWAP, there's still a chance we might go higher.
Peloton maybe curling on a potential trade through 9 there on Peloton. A lottery right back up at those 120 highs.
Yep, that was a nice
news
move
about the U.S. Panama Canal fees.
Yeah, lottery coming up to the intra-session high of 123. Needs more volume, but if we get it, then we could get into that area I was talking about earlier. I think the 158 and 175 levels. ACB, Tilray, some of these cannabis names going sideways. A lot of sideways price action for the past half hour.
Filled more EA there, sold some more EA at 3. They did take that 100%. Trailer on.
I'll be honest, I'm not finding a lot of things
Neither am I.
I'm really liking right now. I might just need to just be patient and wait it out.
Well, you're only waiting 7 minutes until the show's over here. So not really a huge deal there.
If you think the trading stops then.
No, it doesn't. But I'm just saying that we did pretty well.
Yeah, we did.
Given everything. EA, that was a really good trade in those pre-announced earnings too.
We just aren't getting those multiple 100% plus movers that we were getting last year. A little bit of a change here with the market. All right. Well, Arnaz still trying to push up. It's working its way through this consolidation from the earlier this morning in the regular session. But as some other folks are saying, yeah, just needs a little bit more volume to help push conduct the breakout. Kit ready as well. Looks like BBAI is trying to reverse again off the 200 EMA. We'll see if that materializes. No position.
Palantir above 108. This is still screaming for new highs on Palantir. Just unreal move on Palantir.
Is there anything that anybody wants to take a look at? Because I don't think I'm going to be trying any new positions for the time being. Just don't see anything I really like. Maybe Rich Tech Robotics tries to break out here over 284, but don't like the way the MACD looks. I don't like the way the volume looks. And the SPY has not even traded 7 million shares today. Been doing this for over an hour now.
Tom saying, I remember when I bought Palantir at 950 and sold at 20 and was like, yeah, I did great.
You did do great. You did.
I know it's hard, folks. I know it's hard to watch something that you sold at 20 go to 100. I know, but 13's right. If you made money off that, you did do well. By the way, that market sell-off at least pausing right here as the SPY tries to find some support there. Looks like it bounced off, 604? Didn't quite get down there, but held 604. You guys are mentioning air. I'll go back to my main workspace here.
I will always tell you good job if you made made money on something that you still ended up getting out of early. Better to get out early than late.
Oh my God, yeah. Amazon earnings tonight. DS saying the market is waiting for something. Remember, Amazon earnings tonight.
Yeah, and then
maybe that's one of them.
And we roll right into the BLS jobs report tomorrow.
That's right.
How about people that sold at NVIDIA at 200 pre-split? Well, yeah, they still made money. They still did really well. I'm sure they wish they had held longer, but the thing is that it was already very extended at 200 and it just kept going. So, people were trying to protect themselves and make sure they locked in gains in case that thing came in. I mean, I'm one of them that sold really early. I had NVIDIA shares back in 2021, but I got out of that all before the big moves. Now I just have them through ETFs.
So again, that's one of the reasons why, some of the like Ondas is a really good example. Okay, let's just say real quick, I've told you guys my first sell target here is 5 and I'd like double digits. Let's say my plan works. Let's say I do get double digits. Even at that point, when I'm selling out of my position on a stock that I started buying the stock at $9 and I added thousands and thousands of shares in the 50 to 60 cent range. if this ends up working and that turnaround ends up working, I'll sell 95, 99% of my position. I might hold on to just, a couple hundred, 500 shares at that point just to see what it does. I will have made the trade will have already been passed at that point. So if you have a big trade like this, I know a lot of the experienced traders that I've talked to that have been doing this for multiple decades. They'll tell me about some of their big trades. Like, one of the guys in the happy hour had almost 1 million shares of Skyworks Solutions before it was the big Apple thing. I think he was saying it was like $1 at the time. And when it started to move up, he would, sell out of this position, and he made so much money off it, he just held on to a couple of hundred shares. And those couple hundred shares went to $100.
Did you talk about the banks selling $5.5 billion of excess debt?
I didn't. No, I didn't talk about that at all today.
That's because somebody was just mentioning, Bank of America, which, by the way, there's another stock that Warren Buffett sold out of. So, we want to talk about somebody selling out of something early. He's missing $7 worth of movement. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting that there's demand for the debt that banks were holding from the purchase of X by Musk.
Okay. All right, folks, we are done here in about 30 seconds. This is another good day here. Really appreciate the support as well as the dad jokes. They were crispy here today.
That was great.
13, any closing words for the group today?
Chicken. Anyway, no, because that's
okay.
Because I can't think of a joke, so I just said the word. Folks, the dad jokes are done. I've obviously run out of of all of them in my bag. So I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have some more to trade and talk about, because the past couple of days have not been really that exciting. But I appreciate you all being here. It's been fun trading with you, and I will see you tomorrow. We'll make some more trades and have some more fun. See you later, folks.
Exactly, 13. We will see you tomorrow. Had to do that there going out. Folks, it was really great stuff here today. Again, we really want to thank all of you for spending your morning here with Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. We definitely want to try and create an amazing community that helps keep investors informed, and you folks are all a huge part of that. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day. Amazon earnings tonight. Good luck if you're playing. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. We will